Hey guys, happy Saturday. Oh, I have to make sure that enough of my top is in screen so you guys don't think I'm like naked. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a fabulous Saturday. It's really hot, which is why I'm trying to have minimal clothing here. And the AC is on right now, so at least we have air conditioning. Okay, let me just adjust the camera a little bit because I'm trying not to look naked on camera. So anyway, yeah, let me just wait for some of you guys to pop on in. I think the Lokester just showed up. Hey, Susie, hey! Little Wally Walito is in his little circle there. I think Loki just came downstairs possibly to cool off, on the tile down here because he is kind of wearing a thick coat, But anyway, I'm wondering, is it as warm where you guys are right now? Hey, Essence! Because right now our AC is set to 80, just because, obviously SDG&E is going to try to kill us with like power. So we don't want the house like super cold, but I can live in 80-degree house. So we just have like the AC, but the AC popped on at like 8:30 this morning. So it was already 80 degrees in the house, hence the AC came on. I was like, oh. And I went outside right now to move our cans down because yesterday was trash day. And so I was putting our cans back. It's already 100. It's 100 people. It's 10:36 in the morning. Hey, Sherry Bug, what's up? Susie said a temp outside is 94 in Riverside County. Ooh, it gets hot in Riverside. Woo! But we're here in East County. It can get pretty warm over here too. But yeah, yesterday was, I think it was 107, but it's been like in the hundreds, for a while. And I like hot weather, but when it's like 90 something and above, it becomes too hot for me. Like I'm an 80 degree up to 90 degree person. No, 84 to 90 degree person. I have like a little range, but I can deal. I've lived in the desert before, so if I have to, I will acclimate. I will acclimate my little lizard self. But anyway, hopefully everybody's staying cool where you are. I saw on Instagram that outside of California, and some other states where people live, you guys have been having like thunderstorms and lightning, and I'm like, ooh, my favorite thing is like summer storms. Ooh, and my fave is like summer storms in the desert. Like those are really, really cool. Like when I would stay, in the summers at my grandparents' house up in the high desert, up in near Death Valley. Lovely place, Death Valley, right? Like it would be just so awesome when all of a sudden like the sky would get really dark and you'd hear all this like crackling, and then like the lightning. It would be so cool because it's just the desert, right? Lightning would come out of the sky and you'd see it hit the ground, and the ground would actually light up for a second, blue. So I always enjoyed those. And well, when I was a kid, I'd just be out there like in my underwear in the rain, trying to cool off, and people just be standing out there in their like shorts, and guys would take their shirts off and just like standing in the rain because it's so freaking hot. Okay, let's see. Sherrybug said anything above 85, I don't care for much. I prefer fall weather. Well, me, I'm a summer baby. Except lightning in the desert starts fires. Well, except that. But, well, I didn't really see any fires when I was growing up. It was just kind of like middle of nowhere. There was just nothing but tumbleweeds. Let's see. Oh, Garrett's here. Hey, Garrett and Annette. Hola. How are you guys? So yeah, I said I was like minimal clothes today. I'm like not trying to wear extra undergarments and extra clothes. It's too warm. And Molly's here. Hey, Molly. So yeah, I have a couple of things to share with you guys. And of course, like, because always. But other than it being kind of warm where people are, and some people having thunderstorms, and some people um, in southern hemisphere going in the opposite direction. How is your weekend so far? How is your Saturday? And how was your Friday? And any of you guys that are also teachers in the house, how was like your first week of teaching, if this was your first week? I don't know if some have gone back to school yet. And those of you that are parents of children, how's the distance learning going? Annette said, I saw you guys were talking about weather. It was 117 here yesterday. Okay, well, I guess you had 10 degrees on us. It was 107 for us yesterday. Garrett said, we're having a little thunderstorm coming. See, I want a little thunderstorm. Sharebug said, me and the BF broke up. I guess it wasn't meant to be. Aw, I'm sorry to hear that. But you know, maybe it was, I'm thinking of now Greece. Summer loving happened so fast. Do-do, 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 do-do. But yeah, so sorry to hear that. I was just thinking, here I am, my eyeballs are starting to sweat and I'm drinking hot tea. Oh yes, Garrett, tell me more, tell me more. Annette said, oh goodness, homeschooling through K-12. There were tears, laughter, missing books, and me trying to understand 5th grade math. We made it. All right. Congrats. Silver Star, what did I walk into? Hey, gorgeous. Hey. Well, you know, we're just always having fun over here. One of my friends, I've known her since 7th grade, and her son started 1st grade this year. Garrett said, he sounds like a drag. That is the last verse joke. That's the last joke, I promise. Molly said, also drinking hot tea with the fan basically in front of me, finally hitting the LA heat of 90 plus. Ugh. When I was in the Peace Corps in West Africa, they swore drinking hot tea cooled them off. I never got it. You know, when I was in China, I went to Beijing and Shanghai, Suzhou and Hangzhou, and they would say that there were certain foods that you can eat that were cooling foods and certain foods that were warming foods, but they were all hot food. And then there was always hot tea. And and they were like, never drink the ice water, just always have like bottled water, which was never refrigerated. And I was like, how do you cool down in your country? Because other than my hotel having air conditioning, everywhere else is just like a box fan or a little desk fan cooling down the place. And they were like, well, eat some cooling foods. I ate the cooling foods. Still hot though. Yes, still sweated a lot. Still lost a lot of weight sweating. Let me go back. Susie, they learn to cheat. Ugh, the 12-year-olds. Distance teaching. Oh, I will have to get into that. All computer. They share their work. Yes. Jonathan, aloha. Oh, and I've been hearing, not hearing, but I read your post, you know, that it's been difficult for you too, because you've been, you know, home, like all the time. And I guess, you know, it's very difficult, you know, so a lot of people are starting like the homeschooling and the distance learning, and then there are teachers trying to like help all these kids and parents that are like, what's going on? And we barely know what's going on. It's like, our bosses don't even know what's going on. Let's see, Silver Star said, doing the same, but coffee with a fan on full blast. Nice. Okay, so distance learning. Well, the school said through Infinite Campus, which is our like attendance portal / grade program that the district pays for, they said, go to your classes and email all of your students, because when they register for the school, they all get a student ID email. And so like email address to use. And so they're like, email all your students, let them know where to go, because obviously they don't have a classroom to go to. So you're gonna have to email them and tell them like what website you need them to go to, where they can find their work, where they can, start doing stuff, where they can, when your Zoom meetings are and things like that. So it's like, oh, okay. So I email them all, but then that means that they would have to actually check their email. So some haven't. So a whole week has gone by, and some kids have never logged in yet or anything. And some kids just logged in yesterday. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so lost. Because some teachers are doing a brand new program for some reason called Schoology. And it's brand new. And I'm like, why would you try something out that you've never used before with kids who've also never used it before during a time when you can't help them one-on-one with parents who are freaking out? Like, why would you do that to yourself? But some teachers were like, we're gonna give it a go. Turns out the program crashed, but they're still trying. And I'm like, good luck with that. But I'm still using Google Classroom. I'm like, that's what they used in middle school. I'm still gonna use it. Like, that's what they're familiar with. And then the district told us for the different like subjects, like English shall have their Zoom meetings on this day and this day from this time to this time. Math will have it this time, science, Okay, so I have my Zoom meetings, right? So Tuesday, Thursday are my Zoom meetings. For my first period, it's like 10 to 11, and then my third period is 11:30 to 12:30. And some of the kids are like, we can't attend because it's at the same time as history. And I was like, really? History is supposed to have their Zoom time at whatever. Well, some teachers decided that the time that the district gave them just didn't work for them. So now they have like run over on other people's teaching. Like, that's the only time I get to like talk to them and ask if they have questions. And I'm like, oh, why are you doing that? Like, the band teacher did that to me too. I'm like, what the? Okay, let me go back to what you guys are saying. Garrett uses Schoology. We're supposed to like fully be on that program next year, and we have been trained in it. And the district did pay big bucks for it, and they're supposed to phase out Google Classroom. But the fact that we're in the situation that we're in, and the middle schoolers don't know anything about it, which is why I'm like, I'm not using it this year, because that would just be like horrible. Silver Star said, holy crap, my right ear just rang so loud I couldn't hear you. Usually it's the left, now it's going to the right. That started happening to me lately. Well, for me, it's usually the right ear, and it's gone to the left. And so, and it's gone back and forth. And I have gotten my ears checked. Jonathan said, my son's teacher is going to use Google Classroom. Yeah, that's what I am using. Garrett said, yes, as a student and a freshman, I love it. Well, excellent. And looks like you guys are also doing the Zoom meetings. So we kind of sort of make the Zoom meetings mandatory, but like you can't do something for points, on Zoom, and then the kids that weren't able to make it, you can't like give them 0 for not making it, because obviously it looks like there's conflicts, scheduling conflicts, and sometimes, especially right now because it's super hot, sometimes people's internets fail. I know my friend whose son just started first grade, like they lost power. And so right when he was supposed to have his first Zoom meeting for first grade, the very first one, the power went out to the house, and SDG&E had to show up, and she said it was like 4 hours of them trying to fix it. But everything's up and running, and she goes, they have AC again and everything. But yeah, there's like a lot of other stuff going on, and it's just like, whew. And I have one student, she's trying to catch up, but she's not even in California right now. She's in Michigan with her family. She said it was family emergency. And usually, if any of the students are in Michigan, those are usually the Chaldean students, because like that's where we have 2 really large Chaldean populations in the United States, because we're mostly Chaldean at my high school, which if you don't know what Chaldean is, it means Christian Arab or Christian Middle Eastern. And although we have Muslim Middle Easterns as well, we're very huge Middle Eastern population where I live. So it's mostly Middle Eastern, and then we have Hispanic. And then in certain parts of town, we have like our Vietnamese, and we have our Chinese, and we're kind of a melting pot, and things like that. And then where I grew up, a lot of African American, Hispanic, but in where I'm in now, a lot of Middle Eastern. And so there is a cathedral here. It's a Chaldean cathedral, and it's one of two giant cathedrals that we have here in the US. The other cathedral is in Detroit. And so my students, they always tell me, when they come into the US, they either come directly into Los Angeles and then move into Rancho San Diego, where I am, or they said they go from Detroit to Rancho San Diego, because that's like where the two giant populations are. And I was like, that's very interesting. So, I mean, just because when I was going to school in Long Beach, like in college, I remember somebody said something about Chaldean. I was like, what is Chaldean? They said they're in San Diego. I was like, we have Chaldeans in San Diego. What is a Chaldean? And they're like, Christian, Middle Eastern. I was like, we have Middle Easterns? But it's like weird, because San Diego, we have so many cultures here, which is awesome. Like, we're a huge melting pot. But it's like we have these communities, and San Diego is huge. So like I haven't even seen all the communities in my county. And I think it's just great that we have so many awesome communities. But anyway, why did I go off on a tangent? I don't know. I just love my town, okay? Okay, so let me see. Let me go back. And it's like poor kids. Oh, yes. Oh, Jonathan says he's only going into first grade too. Oh, another first grader. Ah! Sherry Bug said, I think that since we can treat the virus now successfully, that there isn't a need for a lot of the distance learning, a lot of cases anymore. And teachers must be frustrated, says Annette. Garrett says, I see you wearing a malachite. I am actually not wearing malachite today. This one is actually like a resin ring that I got from the Ukraine, which is pretty cool. And then I have 24 karat gold treated quartz. And these are also like handmade from the Ukraine. And I have my bracelet, which is, was it dyed blue Hawkeye? Yes, dyed blue Hawkeye, and then I have labradorite. So it's all my crystallines today. Oh, and then my opal from Hawaii. Okay, let's see. Susie said San Diego is beautiful. I love San Diego. I love that we are so diverse. I love that we're just like, everybody's really chill down here. Like, like usually like, people always think that we must be like LA, because LA is, a couple hours from us. We're like, we are so different from LA. Like, we are so chill down here, because we're right by the border, and like, the border, I mean, Mexican border. And like when I was growing up, like we just would go down to the border, go to my friends' like relatives' houses and stuff, and it was always just like so chill, like where I am. Silver Star's like, home pride, I get it, yes. Annette said, all of my husband's family lives in SD. Whoop, whoop. So anyway, it's kind of, I think my legs are sweating. I'm like, ew. I'm sweaty. But anyway, and it's like, hey now, I grew up in LA. We're way more chill. Actually, my dude's older brother and his sister-in-law live in Canoga Park up in LA. And he had moved there because he's a graphic artist, and he's done actually a little bit of work for DC Comics, which is pretty cool. But he's freelance, and that's kind of like where all the work and stuff is. So that's why they moved up there. And what does Desiree do? What does Desiree do? That's a good question. Desiree is an enigma. We don't know much about Desiree. Let's see. Garrett said, "Oh, be right back. I've got to watch the weather. They're saying they'll have a moderate thunderstorm." Ooh. Jonathan said, "I always wear my Moldavite ring, the tiger's eye ring I made." Ooh, that sounds pretty. My earrings are chunks of amethyst. Gorgeous. And my bracelet I've been wearing for almost a year. It's lava stone, malachite, coconut with an Egyptian scarab on one side and sunshine jade. Oh my gosh. You need to take a picture of that because that sounds beautiful. Not that you could post it here, but you could probably post it in Facebook. So that sounds really, 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 really cool. For me, like when it comes, okay, now my hearing's going out. There'd be some energy among us, you guys. Either that or I got water in my ear from my shower. It's a spirit or it's water, who knows. But like when I always put on, I always say I put on my gear, you know, after, you know, I get dressed and everything. So my gear is, you know, I gotta have my earrings on and there's gotta be a stone in there somewhere. So I do actually have a little stone. And then I gotta put on my necklace, which needs to be some sort of something, crystally something. And then I gotta have my bracelets, which there's a minimum of 2 on my left arm, because that's my receiving arm. And then I gotta have a ring on each finger or each hand. So that's like my gear. Everything else is just extra fluff if I just want to add some extra. So that's like my gear. I'm like boom, boom, locked and loaded, ready for the day. But let's see. Silver Star says, "It's spirit talking, just such a high vibration that we can't completely understand." Well, since spirit possibly is here, guess who has her cards here? This girl. Let's pull a card. That's what I wanted to show you guys. Sea-Cat is here. Hey, hello, happy Saturday. The spirit board is upstairs, but I do have some cards here and I wanted to show you. Ooh, okay. There's a deck I want to show you guys. Some of you guys already saw it on the Instagrams. It's in a little tin. Yes, this is my deck. I made this deck. It's using like, you know, free non-copyright photos and stuff like that. And I collaged it myself and kind of like designed it myself. And then my friend in Belgium's like, "Why don't you sell them on makeplayingcards.com?" because that's where I got them printed. And I was like, okay. So, I mean, I'm not really like, I don't think I'll really sell any, but it's there anyway in case anybody like wants them. Because like the main one I sell, of course, is my Wally's World, because this is my pride and joy. And this one I kind of just made for funsies for me. But I don't know, I guess if you guys are interested, you can find it actually through my website. I have the Make Playing Cards link to it on my website. So when you go to my website, kittensweightsandtarot.com, it's literally at the very top. It says, "Click here for the Victorian Flower Oracle." So, you know, I love me some Victorian flowers. Let's see. Jonathan said, "I just got notified that Llewellyn is having it's the 50% off sale. How dare you let me know, Jonathan?" How dare you? Oh, well, I might have to, you know, stop on by after today's chat. Annette said, "I haven't touched a spirit board since I was 12. You know, I don't do Ouija boards, but I do the spirit boards that I have because those seem a lot, it's like a different energy kind of opening up. And I don't know, maybe I've just watched too many movies with Ouija boards, so I can't do Ouija boards." Silver Star, "I'm gonna have to get both your decks." Well, hey, check it on out. So let me just show you guys real quick. So those are the backs, and as you guys know, I mean, hold on, let me get the back of my Wally's World. Obviously, I love roses. Obviously, I love flowers. So, yes. So I just got like tons of different flowers. I got some like lace like overlay. There's like little like gold stars kind of all over the backings. And I don't know, I just thought it was really pretty. I did it in a linen finish so it could, you know, be flexible, but also not get chipped and all that stuff. Okay, so what I did was I took an image of the flower. So these are Victorian flowers. It's got pretty much the Victorian meaning down here. Let me get my face out of the way. And in the background, like kind of collaged, I have those same gold stars. I have different types of lace, and I also have like a little envelope because it's like a message, you know, for you. And then I did like another overlay of like linen, not the cardstock, but like actual like linen to give it kind of an aged feel. Aries Rainbow, hey, how are you? Jonathan said they say 50%, but it's really 20, 35, or 50% lies. They bring you in with that, I know. And then it'll be like decks that are 50% off that like you really wouldn't want. And the ones you do want, it's like, oh, but that one, oh, did you want that one? Oh, that one's like 10%. But anyway, so I have, you know, my, let's say for chrysanthemum, it would be the end of adversity would be the flower's message for you. But here are my flowers. There's 32 flowers, so there's 32 cards. I'm just like really proud of it. I just made it for myself, and I used, there's a book called The Victorian Flower Oracle, and it's all about making your own oracle deck. And I used that as inspiration, you know, kind of read through it and read through like the meaning of Victorian flowers. And then I kind of like, just kind of made this myself. So, I mean, oh, and I love that, Jasmine. Admire new friendships, positive results. And actually, I'm like, my deck is actually really good to read with, which I will use to ask what spirit is hanging out with us. Although I think this lends better to like relationship type stuff, but I don't know, we could try it with this. Where's the flower oracle available? Go to my website, kittenswaitsandtarot.com. At the very top, it says, like, click here for the Victorian Flower Oracle. You click there and it'll take you to makeplayingcards.com. Or you could just go to makeplayingcards.com and just type in Victorian Flower Oracle. And it's by me, Tara, so. So we have dandelions, we have irises. So many pretty flowers. Oh, thank you, Sherry Bug. Aries said, I am a Gemini rising. Well, I'm a Gemini sun. Gemini's in the house. Seacat said, just experienced a very stormy weather coming back from my island. It was very high waves. I was piloting the boat with my dog by my side. Whoa! Whoa, Seacat. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Dude, if I was in the middle of the ocean during a storm, I don't know what kind of panic attack I would have. Oh, Jonathan's husband is Gemini. Jonathan's a Virgo. My mother's a Virgo. We're all just kind of like our own little astrological family. Okay, so I love this deck. I mean, I made it, so I love it. But, you know, I'm just saying. So let's see. Let's pull some cards and figure out what spirit is making my ear go in and out of hearing, as well as Silver Star over there. So, okay, let's do this. Gotta center myself. Gotta cool myself off. You know what will cool me off? Hot tea. And your mom is a Virgo sun. Okay. Okay, so what energy is coming through? Silver Star hears you. I hear you. What is your message? Okay, so the card that came through was Lily. It says purity and simple pleasure. I'm getting a childlike energy, which makes sense because were we not talking about school, distance learning, people starting ninth grade, first graders, a lot of different age groups. So we were just talking about people's kids, we were talking about students. So it isn't too much, I guess, of a stretch to say that a child's energy has come through, kind of like, oh, I'm in a room full of parents and teachers, like, want to come in to say hi. Let's see. Let me go back here. Sherry Bug, I started a Game of Thrones tarot long before the other one came out on playing card site, but never finished it. Sherry Bug, that is your mission. By the end of 2021, give you some time there, you must finish your deck, or at least continue on it. Silver Star said, my youngest is a Gemini son. My son is Aquarius, 2 air babies. Mom's Aquarius too. Let's see. Oops. Old man doggy asking to go potty. All right, you go take him from a walkie. Silver Star, yes, my youngest is starting 10th. Makes sense. They want our attention. Yes. So, well, let's ask him or her. Do you want to say anything to the moms and dads that are here and the teachers that are here and those people that just kind of work around kids that are here, or the people here that are very much a child at heart? Aries' dog is a Scorpio. Wally is a Pisces, and Loki, what is Loki? Loki is a Taurus. I'm like, what is Loki? Loki's a cat. No, he's a panther, but he's a Taurus too. Oh, long hair, skinny eye toe, what's up? Susie said, do you ever get orbs in your house? I do, and actually, I used to be able to just see orbs with my third eye. And as of, I don't know, about a year ago, I see them with my physical eyes. And I've actually started seeing spirits with my physical eyes. I mean, I still see everything with my third eye mostly, but I think it's just interesting how, things kind of morph and change. And I think it's because I don't get freaked out, like when I was a kid. So like, the more I've been trusting my intuition and working with spirit, I think, things change and we're like, okay, well, this chick isn't gonna get freaked out if she literally saw us with her eyeballs. So, hey, I'm like, what's up? I'm like, whoa, kind of scared me for a second, but whoa, okay, I see you, what's going on? Totally not freaked out now. It's just, don't expect somebody when you're just, walking down the hallway and then bam, you're right there. So wasn't expecting you, but I'm totally not scared of you. I'm just a little. Silver Star's cat Gypsy is a Pisces. Ooh. Okay, so young lady or young man, do you want to say anything to all the good people that are hanging out? Whether or not they have kids of their own, they are open to your loving energy. So what is your message? Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. I'm getting that this child is more of a masculine energy, so could be a boy or it could be a masculine girl. But I'm getting a masculine energy from this child. But here we have tulip, beautiful eyes, insight, and wisdom. I've already put it together in my head, but I'll show you guys the cards. Iris, kept promises, a long-term relationship. And we have honeysuckle, fidelity, honesty, integrity. Okay, so, oh, Lady Night is here. What up, Lady Night? Sherry Bug, do you feel a difference in your intuition or third eye ability since being away from the kiddos for so long? That's a good question. I haven't actually sat down and thought about that. Um, because okay, so here's the interesting thing. When I would go off to work, I would have this kind of like, it was kind of like this unspoken thing that my woo woo stuff that I do, like tarot, mediumship, like that is going to be completely separate from my teaching job. That when I'm teaching, which, I mean, I guess you can't completely cut off intuition in teaching, because I mean, you have to be sort of intuitive in order to help the students as best you can, kind of like trying to read them basically. Um, and so it was always like, that's not at my job. I don't have that at my job, even though I do have like, I mean, it's hard not to have me at my job. I mean, there's like little woo-woo bits and pieces all around my classroom. So it's kind of like, I mean, there's like crystals in my classroom, so I can't say that there's like a clear cut, but it was just like, I don't see stuff basically. I'm not doing tarot readings when I'm at work. I'm not trying to work with spirit right now. I'm like trying to work with kids. And it was not this past school year, but the school year before, because I remember it happened with one of my students. She graduated 2 years ago, and actually she follows me now on like YouTube and Instagram. And she's come to like one of my operas. Like she's such a cool kid. I had her little brother as a freshman last year, but it started her year, and actually during her class period. So maybe it's her partially, but I started seeing like orbs amongst the students, and then I would start seeing like energies, which could have been their spirit guides, could have been like just people that know those kids, like helping them out in the classroom. Like I could start seeing them, and I was like, whoa. And I'm like, usually I don't like, I'm like trying to separate this. And it was like this kind of wave of, you're not going to separate it anymore. It's just going to be how it's going to be. Like, this is how it's going to be. Like, you can't separate and say, I'm going to be all woo woo now, and now I'm shutting it off. Like, you could shut it off to a certain degree where you're not getting bombarded, but it was like this feeling of, you're not going to separate it anymore. It's going to be a part of you, and you can lessen it, if you need to concentrate more in a certain area, but you're not going to shut it off anymore. And I was like, oh, okay. So that changed, but that was a couple of school years ago. And now that the kids aren't here, well, it's definitely given me more time, because obviously I'm at home. It's given me more time to go deeper into like meditations and, try different ways of exploring my ability, which I think has shifted it a little bit. So I guess this time away, and not necessarily away from kids, but just like this time at home, has kind of like shifted things for me. And I have some like really, really, really trippy meditations, even trippier than before, which is astounding. But yeah, so I haven't really sat down and thought about it, but yeah, that would be like my best answer. Let's see. Oh, Molly said it is 11:11 where you are. Of course, that was probably a couple minutes ago. Yes, because now it's 11:13. Annette, I teach English, freshman and senior English. So it's kind of cool. I get to see them when they're just like squirrely and, no offense, Garrett, but just trying to figure things out. And then I get to see them again when they get their driver's license and when they get a job, and they're working at like fast food restaurants, and I see them, and I at first try to make like I don't see them. And then they're like, Miss Agito. I'm like, oh, hey. But yeah, when they get to go off and they get to be young adults. So it's kind of cool to see them when they're at the very beginning, and then kind of at the end of their high school career, but at the very beginning of their, like, to me, their adventure beyond, so to me, that's pretty cool. Aries said, how do you know if your third eye is starting to open? I would say when there's, it's like when you're beyond your five senses, it feels like there's a knowing, or like for me, third eye, I say third eye is like more visual. Like for me, when I say third eye, I'm talking about like what I see visually. So it'd be like images that pop up in my mind that just happen to coincide with what somebody's saying. It's like a weird synchronicity, or somebody is talking about their grandmother that passed away, and all of a sudden I'm seeing this like woman in my mind, and I'm like, did she have da 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 da? And they're like, yeah, that would be kind of like third eye type stuff. Um, and as far as like sensations, I don't know. I think that that's different for everybody. Um, I started getting really dizzy, like really, really dizzy spells when things like really started opening up. So I'd get like bouts of dizziness, and I literally thought that something was wrong with my equilibrium, and I went to the doctors, and they're like, no, you're fine. Um, Also, like, let's see, when I'm starting to do like deep tap in type stuff, I sweat, which is kind of gross. I know I'm sweating right now, but it's like this weird internal heat. Like when I'm doing a deep like reading with somebody, or even when I'm talking with you guys and I'm pulling like a card, like usually it'll be like, draw a card for each of you, I start to get really hot. Like I start to burn up inside, and I think it's kind of gross because I'm like, ew, I'm like all sweaty. Do they notice I'm sweating? Like, can I have another like whatever side effect to tapping into people other than sweating? Like, because that's kind of gross. Let's see. Sherry Bug says, when they know everything, yeah. Yeah, when they know everything when they're 18 years old. They think they know everything. They like to tell me they know everything. I'm like, okay. You just yeah, have fun with life. See, Jonathan said, seeing is third eye, knowing is crown chakra. Yeah, so, yeah, and it's so weird because sometimes people, they use third eye as like a blanket term, but for me, it's always been like seeing in my mind's eye something that I don't physically see with my eyeballs, that kind of thing. And it said my oldest daughter is a freshman. I will say that of all 4 grade levels of which I've taught, freshman is the most difficult. Again, no offense, Garrett. But it's because they're not, they were like top of their class when they were in middle school, like they were the big bad 8th graders, and then they get to a high school and now they're low man on the totem pole again, but also they're in high school, so that's pretty cool. But then also like their bodies are going through all the little changes that teenage bodies, go through, and there's swings of emotions, and they feel everything so much more passionately, love and hate and kindness and laughter. Everything is like to the extreme, and they're trying to like navigate. Oh, hey, Wally. Trying to navigate like what's going on in their brains, their bodies, what's going on with their friends that are also going through stuff. Also trying to work on their identity from their parents now, because before it was like you're so-and-so's daughter or you're so-and-so's son, but now it's they really trying to form like who am I? Like, am I my parents or am I somebody separate? And now I want to defy them because I want to find out who I really am, and so there's a little bit of like defiance in there, but really it's them just trying to figure out like the world around them and figure out who they are, what do they like, what do they want out of life, who are their friends, who can they trust, who can they not trust, how do you know when you can trust somebody? And it's a confusing time, And so trying to teach them school on top of them trying to figure out their place in the cosmos, is a little difficult, but it's also really rewarding because I like seeing how much they change just as human beings from August to June. It's like a huge change, and some of them grow by like a foot. It's like the boys are like, and some of the girls too, like, oh my gosh, you are going to be a really tall girl. You already really are tall. You should go out for the volleyball team. Let's see. Jonathan said, I get heat and goosebumps at the same time. Really? Oh, sometimes I get that too. I literally do. It depends on the like spirit energy I'm working with, but I'll get goosebumps and heat. I didn't know somebody else got that too. Sherry Bug's like, freshman stuck. Oh, Sherry Bug. Molly said, I also get dizzy or hot at times. Susie said, Garrett, you are wise beyond your years. Annette said, she would think it's so awesome to have a teacher that is an opera singer, tarot reader, all things woo-woo teacher. And you know what? I think to some degree, I mean, all English teachers I think are quirky anyway. We're all a little weird, but I think kids kind of like, they're really smart and they're really intuitive anyway, and they kind of like find me out. Like there will be like some kids who come up to me and they're like, so, my parents make fun of me because I think I see spirits. I think I see spirits. And I'm like, oh, well, I mean, it's just a natural thing. They're like, so you believe there's spirits? I'm like, of course there are. And they're like, oh, because like most of the adults I talk to, they say there's no such thing as ghosts. I'm like, it's just everybody believes whatever they believe. And the kids are like, really? Oh, you know, but it's like they seek me out. The ones that are like, you know, when I'm around people who are really sad, I'm also sad. Do you know what this is? Or when I'm around people who are really high energy, I become high energy. Like, what is this? It's like they start asking me woo-woo questions, like other than their school questions. And it's like they always seek me out. They always find me. And I live in the basement of the school, literally. My classroom's in the basement without windows. It's like the worst place to be in the school. It's so dark down there, but they find me anyway. Silver Star said, I just pulled 4 cards for all of us. Forgiveness. We need to forgive ourselves. Even in our inexperience, it made us who we are, allowing the energies flow and trusting guidance given. Yes, I love that. And Molly, oh, what would it be like to be a teenager again? I don't want to be a teenager again. Silver Star's like, no, thank you. I would not want to be a teenager again. But I, from the young person that was hanging out with us, our energy, I kind of feel like the energy's kind of like moved with you guys. But first of all, it was to say like beautiful eyes. I don't like mean that they were like, oh, you have beautiful eyes, but more like, thank you, you can see me, this is great. And also this was more of a message to you guys that either work with kids, are, you know, a really good uncle or aunt or grandparent, or you are a really good parent or teacher or, you know, whatever it may be. It was just like the child that was here was just saying, you know, like, thank you for not giving up on young ones, you know, whether they are your kids, not your kids, or kids you teach. It was just like a thank you for not giving up on us. And also thank you for being able to see me. But I thought that was just a really, really sweet message. So that was from the little youngster that was here. So just thought I would pass that along to you guys. Okay. Annette said, I don't ever want to go back to being a teenager. No. Those were some difficult years. Jonathan said, my senior year of high school, I took poetry the first semester and sci-fi fantasy writing for the second semester. So much fun. Oh, your high school sounds way more cool than my high school was. I don't even think there was that option. It was like, here's your English class. Do you want honors or do you want regular? There was remedial, there was regular, and then there was honors. Like, we didn't have like poetry writing classes because that would have been my jam. I mean, we did lots of like cool stuff in my English classes, which we don't get to do anymore, which is kind of sad because they've like really watered down our curriculum. I'm not going to get into the whole politics there, but you know, I just kind of wish it was more about helping students express their creativity, and helping them become lifelong learners, like having them want to go out and read on their own and having them like writing and not doing school in such a way where you learn to hate those things. Like I hate reading, I hate writing, I hate math, just, you know, I think that the way that it was done, at least English, maybe not mathematics, like when I was growing up, and I had some really good teachers too. I think it comes down to like awesome teachers. Like I had 4 really awesome teachers, freshman through senior year. Those teachers were the bomb diggity, especially Miss Baumgarten. She was my favorite. And she had a beehive. I loved her beehive. But it was all about like creative writing and books that weren't so dry and allowing you to read and choose books that actually are like something you would like. So there would be your mandatory books that you have to read for class, but then there was like you could explore the library and have fun in the library. And that's something that like I tried doing, when I started out teaching, and now that I'm in my 13th or 14th year teaching high school, like we can't do that stuff anymore. They like don't allow it. So it's very frustrating. But anyway, we'll move on past that. Let's see. Silver Star, I would never want to go back to that awkward, insecure stage. Oh, yes, I know what you mean. CCAT, I home teached my oldest son. Cool, cool. Jonathan, I was in honors English through the other 3 years, and not everyone had the option to take those extra classes. Oh, wow. Susie said, all we could do was haiku spelling. I'm 48. Our high school sucked. I mean, some people think my high school sucked, but I think I had really cool English teachers, and I think that's why I became an English teacher, is because I had cool English teachers. I think if my English teacher sucked, I probably wouldn't have become an English teacher. Molly said, I was so awkward as a teenager, couldn't live like that again. I knew, no. Gosh, when I was a teenager, well, let's see, my cheeks were a lot chunkier. So I had like really, really chunky cheeks, but I was built like a stork. My dad always told me I had stork legs, so I was like super scrawny, a lot taller than my friends. I mean, I'm only 5'8", but most of my friends were like 5'2" and 5'3", and most of the girls at the high school were like 5'3". So like I really stuck out, okay? So I'm like this tall, skinny thing with these big chunky cheeks. And I got braces on my 16th birthday. Why would my parents do that? I don't know. It sucked so bad. So yeah, I had braces my junior and senior year, and then I got my braces off just before I left for college. So then I had my retainer. I still have my retainer. There was a while I didn't wear it, and my teeth started moving again. And I went to my dentist, and I was like, my teeth are moving. They're like, well, yeah, you stop wearing your retainer, like your teeth start to shift a little bit again. And I'm like, no, I will not go back to shark teeth. So I had shark teeth, man. I had literally like rows of teeth behind teeth. Like it was like somebody took a handful of teeth and just threw them in my mouth. And that was my teeth. And then there was like, oh my gosh. Okay, I didn't have the greatest parents in the world, so home life sucked. I had my annoying little brother, because at that time, little brothers are annoying, who was always trying to spy on me. And every time I want to go hang out with my friends, he's like, I'm going with Tara. And I'm like, just leave me alone. Let's see. Jonathan said you had an epic education. I know, Jonathan, it sounded like his education was way cooler than me. Silver Star, I had chicken legs. Jonathan said, my mom said I was all legs and arms. Yeah, I was called stork legs. I think sometimes my mom called me chicken legs. Lady Knight said, I would repeat my junior year in a heartbeat. That was my exchange year in America, but I would like to go back with today's knowledge. Yes, I mean, If I could, okay, this is what I would do. If it be me now, but I'd be like a ghost or something, or just like a time traveler, but nobody else can see me. But maybe my former self can see me. And once my former self stops freaking out because she's seeing future me, I'd be like, okay, listen, there are some things that you need to avoid. I'm going to get you out of some future situations. Listen close, my dear. And maybe I should dress like Marty McFly in Back to the Future when he was waking his father up. I mean, the younger version of his father in the middle of the night, and he was Darth Vader, but he was like wearing like a hazmat suit and like like a gas mask. I am Darth Vader. It's like playing Van Halen. That would be how I wake up little me, younger me. Silver Star, when I got pregnant with my son, I looked like a gumball with toothpick arms and legs. Oh my gosh. Oh no, we were buffering. Well, hopefully we are back now. Yeah, teenage years were awkward, really awkward. There's some stuff I probably would never want to relive. Most of it, actually, now that I think about it. As I just remembered my 18th birthday, I was like, and my 16th birthday. Yes, you guys, I am so full of stories. And just be glad that it all happened to me, you know. Okay, so quickly, 16th birthday. Super excited to be 16 because my father, who was very strict, like, you know, Filipino dad, he said I couldn't have a boyfriend until I was 16. And he told me that since I was like 12. So I was like, cool, when I'm 16, I'm gonna have a boyfriend. Well, I already had a crush on a boy who went to a different school because I like the blonde boys. I like me some Caucasian boys. And where I live, there are no Caucasian boys. So they were a rarity. It was like something exotic to see somebody with blue eyes and blonde hair. It was like so exotic. And so if you wanted the exoticness, you had to go to Bonita High School. So, and so I met this guy, and my dad always called him Joe Blow from Kokomo. Jonathan said 18th birthday was the first day of my senior year. What? Okay, my 18th birthday was at the end of my senior year. It was like after graduation, which was kind of nice. So there's this Joe Blow from Kokomo, and he's like huge, by the way. Joe Blow was like, he was 6'10". He was a really big guy. He was like really tall, and I was like, whoa. And he played football. And okay, so maybe he was benched all the time, but still he played football. And he's blonde. So I was like smitten with him, right? But I told him we can't date, like we can't be official until my 16th birthday. So of course I invited him to my 16th birthday. Well, my dad, having the issues that my dad has, he didn't want to be around for my 16th birthday because he refused to, number one, believe that I was turning 16. And for some reason, this made him angry. And my dad didn't know how to process emotions, by the way. So any emotion he couldn't process was automatically anger. So my dad decided he was going to go for a drive or go to the gym or something. But he didn't want, it made him angry that I was 16. You know, so whatever. So my dad took off. And my mom is there, and Joe Blow from Kokomo is there, and all my best friends are there. And we have tiki torches, everybody got leis, you know, we're all dressed in like Hawaiian print, and we have these tables. My mom like hired a DJ, and we're playing like, oh, what was it? We were playing like stuff from like Depeche Mode, and we got my favorite cake from El Tigre. El Tigre is like kind of like a grocery store, sort of, but down near the border. And I always wanted a tres leches cake, which is a 3 milks cake. It's so moist and so good. So I got a tres leches cake and I was super excited. And my mom took me shopping for a really pretty dress because my mom didn't let me have a quinceañera. So I got like a 16th birthday. So I got to have like a really fancy dress for that. And I got to shop in like the women's section and I was like super excited. And then my aunt and my cousin came over and they were making lumpia, they made pancit, they made chicken adobo, they made so much good Filipino food for my birthday and it was like off the hook. And my mom's like, I got a birthday gift for you and it'll be in the morning. I'm gonna give it to you in the morning and then you'll have your birthday party. And I was like, oh, like, yes, my birthday gift. Hold on, let me go back to what you guys are saying. Susie said, I had a big butt. Still do. I was bullied. Now it's popular. Who knew? You are in style right now because yes, it is all about the backside. My students tell me that too. They're like, Mrs. Dipto, do you ever like use social media or are you too old for that? I'm like, okay, you don't tell your teacher if she's too old for something. Yes, I know what social media is. They're like, so you know all about like the junk in the trunk, the badunkadunk, like the backside, like that's a thing. I was like, why are you telling me this? And they're like, we want to keep you in the loop. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. But yes. Okay, let me go back. Molly, now singing Beach Boys, Kokomo in my head because of your 16-year-old crush. Oh yes, good tune. Silver Star, Me to Me, to it's stuck in my head. So yes, okay, so what was the birthday gift? Oh, the birthday gift was to go to my orthodontist, Dr. Bizboss in Pacific Beach. And it was, you're gonna be getting braces. Finally, my mom's like, we're gonna fix that jacked up smile of yours. I'm like, thank you. Didn't think there was anything wrong with my smile, but thank you. My mom's like, she says, so what we're gonna do at the orthodontist is, she thought they were gonna give me my braces that day, but the orthodontist says we have to put the spacers in first because what they do is, well, I mean, those of you that have had braces, you know, they have to put the anchor brackets, basically, like the anchors on the back tooth, like back tooth, and that's basically where the wire is anchored into. So you have all your brackets and then you have like your anchor points back here. So they need to be able to get their whatever thing they got to put on my back teeth in there. So they got to space my back teeth a little bit. So they put these, it's like this little circle, it's a little plastic circle, or maybe it was metal, I don't remember. And they stick it in between your teeth and it automatically spaces them. And so when they first got put in, I was like, oh, well, that's not so bad. And my jaw just kind of feels a little weird. Go to 15 minutes later when my mouth is in excruciating pain because you literally just separated my teeth. Like, that hurts. So I'm like, oh. I'm like, Mama, why did you do that? Like, my mouth hurts so much. She was like, this is for your birthday gift. She goes, gosh, you're ungrateful. And I'm like, did you have to do it on my birthday? She's like, well, yeah, because it's your birthday gift. I'm like, but my mouth hurts. I'm like, but my mouth hurts. And how am I supposed to eat like lumpia and cake if my mouth hurts? My mom's like, you'll just have to mash it with your tongue or put it in the blender. And I'm like, this is the suckiest 16th birthday ever. I'm like I was like trying not to talk. I was like, oh my God, my mouth hurts just so much. I'm like, oh. And so I remember when my friends showed up, and like I was almost crying because my teeth hurt so bad. And they were like, oh man, the food smells really good. And I'm like, I can't eat it. Like my mouth, like all my teeth felt so like they were gonna fall out. Like they were just, I was like, oh. And I'm smelling all this food. And like my cousin, my aunt, they're just like sweating, making all this lumpia. And I'm like, and it's my favorite food, hence why they're making it for my birthday. And I'm like, and I like tried to eat a lumpia and I went, can't eat lumpia. So then I tried like mashing it, and I was like, like trying to like just swallow it. I'm like, this sucks. And all I could eat was the cake because the cake was really soft. So I ended up mashing cake at the roof of my mouth the entire time. That's all I ate was cake. And so my aunt was like, why aren't you eating any like chicken adobo or something? And I was like, my mouth hurts. And I remember when, you know, so I'm like whining and crying. And one of my friends, her name was Huen. And Huen, she was like, we need to do up your hair because your soon-to-be boyfriend is here. And I'm like, oh my God, at least something good is coming out of my birthday. I will now have a boyfriend. My mouth may hurt and I may hate the world right now, but I'm gonna have a boyfriend. So my friend, I remember she was like, she got a hair curler. She was like trying to curl my hair. And I remember she accidentally like burned my ear with the hair curler. And I remember I was like sweating so bad, and all my friends were in the bathroom with me trying to get me ready so that I looked hot for my boyfriend. And my friend Pancho was like making a run back and forth. And I remember when he came in, he was like, Tara, your boyfriend is here. I was like, oh my God, okay, let's de-sweat ourselves. We're de-sweating. Whew. Perfume, more perfume. Mom's perfume, it's expensive. Yeah, and then I was super excited because then I had a boyfriend, and my mouth hurt though, but I had a boyfriend. So that was my 16th birthday. And we had fun anyway. I remember dancing around and having fun with all my friends. I remember my friend Pancho, who always was Mr. Extreme. We called him the Mexican Elvis because he was Mexican, and he called himself the Mexican Elvis. He's like, I'm Elvis, Mexican Elvis. And he like had like the like Elvis sideburns, and sometimes he would come to school dressed as Elvis, and he would be like, who's in the house? Mexican Elvis is in the house. So anyway, so my friend Pancho was getting out of control because, you know, teenagers get out of control. And he started doing, he jumped on one of the tables and he was like, okay, ladies, it's time for Mexican Elvis to do a little sexy dance. My mom's like, you get down off that table, young man. We are not having that at this party. I'm like, dude, Pancho, we can't do that in front of my mother. Hey, Diane. Okay, let me go back. Let's see, Silverstar. I like big butts and I cannot die. Yes. Most men lose their butt, but as they get older, well, white dudes do anyhow. My mom pointed that out. I was like, Mom. Lady Knight said, and she couldn't have waited one more day for this great present. I know, right? And my mom, like, that couldn't, like, she didn't understand. Why would I give you a birthday present not on your birthday? I don't know, because it would put me in an excruciating pain. Good morning. How funny. The minute I join you, you say Mexican Elvis is in the house. Yes. So hello. Yeah, that was, but you know what? We will forever remember that birthday party. My friends will forever remember that. They bring up parts of my birthday party that I have kind of forgotten now, but they're like, remember when this happened? Remember this? And remember when you tried to sneak off with Joe, like on the side of your house, and you were like trying to like make out with him? And I was like, I did? And they're like, why'd you block that out? And I'm like, I don't know. They're like, yeah, the whole time you were like trying to sneak off with him. And I was like, oh, well, you know, I was 16, so. My 16th sucked. I was dressed in black. My cake was black. My decorations are black, and no one showed up. So it was just me and Mom. What? Oh my gosh. Okay. So, whoa, that sucks. Okay, my 18th birthday. So again, I get to have a birthday party. So I got to have 4 birthday parties in my whole life growing up. So it was my 6th birthday, my 12th birthday, 16 and 18, because my parents said, why would you have any other birthday parties? Because those are the only years that count. So I wasn't allowed to have birthday parties other than those years. Hey, Raven. So my 18th birthday, my birthday is always after school got out. So it always sucked because it was harder to get my friends to come to my birthday because school was out for summer. So it's not like I could get invitations out, and I could try calling people's houses, but you know. Sherry Bug, I've only ever had one birthday party. Okay, well, see, maybe I should stop crying about my 4 birthday parties. Molly said, my 16th birthday, I got my license, and then I went through the McDonald's drive-through to get ice cream because I thought it was so cool. Oh my God! If that happened on my birthday, I would have totally have done the same thing because that would be cool. But my 18th birthday, I tried to get the invitations out early before school, before basically we graduated. And I was like, okay, just show up to my house. So interestingly, it was the only time that I had random people showing up to my house. Like there was literally cars just driving through. And the reason was, I found out later, they thought I was having a house party. So all these people from the high school thought my parents weren't home and they were showing up for a house party. And when they saw that there was no house party, and it was just like a birthday party, like an actual birthday party, they were like, oh, okay, well, happy birthday. And then they like went driving off to find wherever the next house party was. Because this was either the day, I think this was the day after we graduated, was my birthday party, if I remember. Was it the day we graduated? It was something like that. Gosh, I can't remember now. Darren said my birthday is on December 28th, so no one ever remembers my birthday. So no parties for me. Aw. Gemini said I failed twice on behind the wheel, so I got my license at 25. It worked. No moving violations, tickets ever. Good driver. Hey, I passed on my second try, my written and my driving test, both of them on the second try. So I make sure I treat myself on my birthday. I gift myself good gifts like a car, a trip, and my 50th birthday was a life change. I moved here to BC, just boom, boom, pow. That's awesome. Heck yeah, people should treat themselves on their birthdays. Silver Star said, I had a friend born on Christmas. He said it sucked because he didn't get a birthday present. I've heard that from some people that are born too close to like a certain holiday or something, and their parents are like, oh, it's combined. I'm like, that is such a horrible cop-out. Okay, so my 18th birthday. I mean, all my good friends were there. At the time, I had a different boyfriend now. I moved on from Joe Blow from Kokomo because he cheated on me, so I dumped him. And I was on to a different boy, but he was younger than me. So that was like the first time I dated like the younger boy. He was in high school with me, but he was, yes, younger. And this time, I mean, because I think it was like after Joe Blow from Kokomo, I don't know. I think I've dated almost every culture and race on the planet. But I can't tell you the nickname of that boyfriend at that time because it's not appropriate for YouTube. But his name was Richard, so you probably can kind of guess what was part of his nickname probably was. But anyway, so Richard, he was half Irish and half African American, and I thought he was just so cute. Like he had like light eyes, and I loved his caramel skin. I was like, I just thought he was just such a cutie. And so he was at my birthday party. My best friends were there. Random people showing up because they thought that there was like a house party. And this one guy who was my friend, but like he wasn't my good friend. But I mean, he was one of the basketball players, and I was on the basketball team too. And so like we kind of hung out because of our love of basketball. And for some reason, like he always liked hanging out with my mom, and I was like, okay, whatever. Like, you want to hang out with my mom? I mean, that's kind of weird, but whatever. So like he showed up to my birthday party. Thunder said cougar. Yes. Silver Star, I buy myself gifts all the time. Gotta treat yourself. Yes, I totally agree. So, my sort of friend shows up, you know, my basketball playing friend, like super tall Dwayne, who by the way was, he was a year older than us because he failed senior year last year, but he was like a super senior, I guess. So he was repeating his senior year with us. So he was 19 when all the rest we were 18. And it was kind of cool because he was able to get, because he failed the written driving test so much that he was able to get copies of the 4 possible driving writtens. So on my second try, I cheated. I actually studied all the written tests that I got from him. Like, it was kind of cool having a guy that was like 19 at your high school because he could do like all sorts of stuff that could help you. One of those was helping you cheat on your written test for your driving test. All right, Sherry Bug. Well, you have a wonderful Saturday and a wonderful Sunday. And I will continue on with my crazy 18th birthday over here. Probably liked her, was into older girls. Okay, Silver Star, let me get into that. So, Dwayne shows up, tall Dwayne, 19-year-old Dwayne. And he's like, hey, Sarah, happy birthday. I'm like, hey, blah, blah, blah. We talk, whatever. And he's like, hey, where's your mom? And I was like, I don't know. I guess she's in the house. And by the way, we got to have good food again. So my aunt did come over again and she did make lumpia. So at least a couple of years later, I did get to have that Filipino feast again, which was excellent. So he's like, where's your mom? Okay. I'm like, she's in the house. So he disappears, whatever. I didn't even notice that he was gone because it's not like I'm trying to keep tabs on all my friends. So I'm just hanging with my friends, having fun, trying to make out with my boyfriend behind the house, or on the side of the house where the trash cans are. Like, I'm always trying to sneak away so I can like make out with somebody. My dad wasn't there again because, again, like I said, my dad has trouble with issues like with emotions. So when he's experiencing an emotion, it's automatically anger. So my dad is now angry that I'm 18 years old, and so he has left. Oh, Jezebel's here. What's up? A little while later, I don't know, I'm like hanging with my friend, one of my best friends, and she's like, your mom was looking for you. And I was like, oh, okay, because I may have been on the side of the house making out with my boyfriend. So then I run into my mom, and my mom's like all distraught and stuff like this. And like, she's all like, and it's like, she's like upset. And I was like, what, mama? I just remember, okay, so my mom is like, okay, brace yourselves. So my mom's like, she's like, baby, Dwayne tried to make out with me. It's because I'm so hot. Yes, that's what my mom told me. Oh my gosh. She's like, baby, Dwayne tried to make out with me because I'm so hot. And I'm like, I'm literally like mid-talk with my friend Sarah. I'm like, Susie's like, she lied. Oh no, she didn't. Jezebel's like, yep, mom, that's why. So hot, so very hot. Please tell me about it. Sometimes I have to laugh about my life. So I'm like, and I'm like, and my friend Sarah's like, ooh, hey, the music, I'm gonna talk to you guys. So my friend takes off. Thanks, Sarah. Leaves me with my mom alone. I mean, my friends have decided that, you know what, we're not a part of this conversation. So they just, they have left me with my mother. And I'm like, Mama, why are you telling me this? My mom's like, well, you should be sticking up for me. I'm your mom. And I was like, why are you making out with my friends? That is so disgusting. Like, what is wrong with you? My mom's like, well, maybe because some little goody two shoes has been off in her little world with her friends, and like she didn't realize like how hot her mother is, just leaving me to the wiles of your like, little hormonal boys that are always trying to come at me with their little boy stuff. And she was like, and I'm like, oh my God, mom, okay, number one, you're not hot. And mom, I don't need to hear this right now. And I was enjoying my food and I was enjoying my birthday party. And please, just if you could just like not tell me when you make out with my friends again, like that would be great. And if you could just actually never make out with my friends again, because you're married to my dad, that would be great too. So I'm gonna go have cake. So yeah. That was my 18th birthday. That's what I mostly remember from that. Lady Night's like, and right here you got like 10 more screenplays ready to be written. I know, right? Superstar, they're all like, poof, like ghosts. Yeah, it's weird how your friends just like decide they gotta be other places. Jillifer, hey! You are, no worry, you are right on time. I've always got stories for days, so. Jezebel's like, so dad's mad you had a birthday and mom is making out with friends and being a teen about it. Yeah, so hey, yeah, my dad's mad at me because I turned 18. So I got, like my dad takes off and I got my mom who's like in the house apparently making out with Dwayne. Okay, but there's an update to this story. Mom was jealous of, oh, okay, so yeah. You probably have realized I don't have a great relationship with my mom. I don't talk to her. She was always very jealous of me. It was kind of awkward because like she's supposed to be my mom and not like a sister that's like jealous of you. So yeah. Anyways, Jezebel said families are messy, but girls, you are a bit messy it seems. Yeah. Michelle's like, I came at the best part of that story. Welcome, Michelle. T-Cat said, hello, everyone. OMG, what was your mom thinking? I know. Thunder's like, it's my birthday. I could cry my mom too. Seriously. Susie's like, okay, my parents were married at the time, but they got a divorce after my first year of college. So this was like 1 year after that event. My mom divorced my dad. She told him, and I was there for that. My mom told him, I'm hot stuff and there are like a line of guys looking to get with me and I don't need you anymore. And that was like what she told my dad. And so my dad was like pretty heartbroken. So, so that kind of sucked. But yeah, my mom was like always talking about there was like a line of dudes. They never showed up though. Anyway, sounds like separation issues. Mm-hmm. I had that with my wicked stepmom. Ooh, those wicked stepmoms. Actually, I have a stepmom now, and she's really cool. I love my stepmom. She's a professor at State, actually. Okay, so my dude that I'm with now, we've been together for like almost 14 years. Okay, all through college and all of that, like back when we were just friends, like I would tell him that story. And then when we started dating, I would still tell him that story because he loves to laugh at my life, He's like, my life was so boring. He says, I love hearing your stories because your life is so jacked up that it's amusing. I'm like, thanks. You're supposed to be nicer to me because you're dating me. But anyway, so his mother loved that story too. So his mom would always crack up. Okay. But she always thought that I was exaggerating, to make my stories funnier. And I was always like, no, like it's true. So this was a while ago because his mom's been gone now for since 2014. Yeah, so 2014 we lost his mother. So, but this was like way before she passed away. We were at the San Diego Wild Animal Park, and we're walking along, and we're talking, da 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 da. And who is walking towards me but Dwayne and some chick that I think he's his wife or girlfriend, I don't know. And then they have their kid. And so I immediately recognized him. And so, but like we're still kind of far away. And I hadn't seen him literally probably since I was a senior in high school. And there was rumors that after like when I was in college, like after my parents split, that like Dwayne and my mom had a thing going on, but I wasn't really trying to hear all that. So, cause that's disgusting and scarring, as if I'm not already scarred. So, so then, I lean to like my dude and his mom. I'm like, that's him. That's Dwayne. Remember that story I told you of my 18th birthday and like that guy that my mother made out with? That's literally him. And his mother's like, oh my, oh dear. And she's like, and so we like just walk, we're walking, and Dwayne gets closer. He's like, hey, Tara. I'm like, hey, Dwayne, we hug and we separate. And what's his first question? Because it was like, hey, Tara, hey, Dwayne, we hug. First question, how's your mom? That was literally his first question. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to talk to her anymore. And he's like, yeah, so, this is my chick. And that's my kid. I was like, cool. He's like, well, hey, tell your mama I said hi. And I was like, okay. And after they were out of earshot, my dude's mother turned to me and she was like, I will never discredit your stories ever again. That was disturbing. I'm sorry. And of course, who's laughing his head off? My dude, because he thinks it's hilarious. I'm like, dude, this is my life you're laughing at. And he's like, yeah, but it's funny. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let me go back to what you guys are saying. Empty nest syndrome. My mom really went through it too. Oh, really? Yeah, that could be it. But except my mom, or when I left, my brother was still at the house with my mom. Like my brother, he's 6 years younger than me. So when I left for college, he was still home. So I'm like, Dan said she really looks like Cruella de Vil. I had Cinderella's story for real. Oh, Susie's like, she hit on the dude. No, she never hit on the dude. She actually really disliked him, which was awesome. Because he didn't like her. Because he said he could sense evil. T-Cat said, oh, that was pretty cold from your mom towards your dad. Yeah, that kind of sucked. Jezebel said, well, real motherly moms can't fathom how someone like that, my mom would have tried to adopt you on the spot. Yeah, see, I know that there's good moms out there. I learned that when I went off to college because I got to see like well-adjusted families and like good people's moms. And I was like, oh, that's what it's like to have a good mom. You're so lucky. At least your mom's not making out with your high school friends. It's funny you said that. My life story are so crazy. Also, I do believe you and I have some crazy stories. We could probably write a book together. Yeah, how is your mom? Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh, look, this is my family. Tell your mom to call me. Seriously, it was so twisted and gross. Like right in front of your lady, like, and your kid, really? Like, oh my gosh. Why are you asking about my mom? I'm getting some Stifler's mom vibes. You know, I hadn't put that together till now. It would definitely be Stifler's mom. But you know what? Stifler's mom was actually a good-looking older lady. My mom is not. Thank goodness you left that mess. Seriously. See, I'm like, I don't do business with certain family members when they are a little too cray-cray. Wow, you can say disturbing again. Yes, I'm so sorry that she was like that with you. Well, you know, I think sometimes having a difficult, crappy childhood and possibly having a horrible parent turns you out to be a particular way, and having empathy for people that also come from, difficult childhoods and things like that. So I think that that has built empathy into me. And I think that in some weird, twisted way, if my parents weren't the way they were, I probably wouldn't be the way I am, which, is a lot more aware of other people's feelings about the things I say and the things I do, and being empathetic, so more willing to listen, and be more understanding when people are having some difficulties, with their home life and stuff like that. And I think it's definitely helped being a teacher, because I know not every kid has like the best home life. So it's kind of cool to have that background to fall back on, so that when a student is telling me about stuff and I'm there to listen, like I can empathize with them. Like I literally could say, I understand where you're coming from. And for them, like they always tell me, like, really, like, thank you, so hey, maybe all that stuff like sucks pretty hard, but I think it's made me a better person, so I'll take it, whatever. Silver Star, I get it with the mom and their relationship. My mom was super jealous for some odd reason. Yeah, I don't understand jealousy with like moms and their daughters. Like, what gives? She would take my paycheck when I was 16. She refused to work. My mother would do that. My mom was always taking money from me. Jacked up, man. I was always like, I thought I couldn't balance my bank account, but really it was my mom like taking my cash and then telling me that I was stupid and that I would never be good at math because I couldn't balance my bank account. But really she was jacking my cash. So I thought I was going crazy and that I really was dumb. And my mom would be like, yeah, you're actually really stupid. Like, I think you lost a lot of brain cells when you were born. And I'd be like, really? So yeah, my mom's really twisted. I don't believe any of that stuff anymore. Yeah, don't believe people like that. Let's see. Yes, best of parents. Dan said, I heal all the evil my stepmom did to me by looking and seeing why it was she was evil with me. I forgive her. Sometimes they have their own shadows. Exactly. I don't hate my mom. I don't hate my parents at all. Do I think that they made some horrible, disastrous mistakes raising me? Why, yes. But I can see that the reason they are the way they are is because of the way they were raised, And although I had fantastic grandparents, they were not the best parents, but they were great grandparents, So I can see that stuff, that they had their own issues. They just never learned to deal with it. And then they, put those issues onto their children. And sometimes it becomes a cycle like that. Children will absorb, their parents' issues and all the stuff they never dealt with. And then they, in turn, sometimes put it onto their kids. But, and it sounds like with a lot of you, like you decide that's not going to happen. I'm not going to pass that on to my children. If I'm not saying everybody had a bad childhood, but those people that may have had, a less than favorable childhood, it's good that there's a lot more people that are saying like, whoa, hey, I realized that there was some emotions and rotten stuff that was passed on to me. I don't want to continue that trend, in the family. So like the buck stops here, so, okay. So let's see. Lady Knight said, OMG, how can someone be like that? She's got a lot of demons. Maybe your mom was treated that way when she was a kid and she held on anger and pain and took it out on you. Yep. Butterfly Love Child's like, crap thing to say to your kids. Yeah, I know. But you know what? I am a kinder, better person because of her crappiness. So, says, yep, it's a cycle. Being parents doesn't absolve folks from their own issues. Exactly. It usually goes that way. She's a much better grandma than she is a mom. I was like, where was that when I was a kid? Yeah, oh, thanks, Lady Night. When, like my grandma and my grandpa, like my mother's parents. I love my grandparents. Well, I still love them even though they're passed away. But and my grandma she was always spoiling me. Actually, both of them were always spoiling me. And I remember one time my mom was complaining to her, like my mom thought I was out of earshot, but I wasn't. And I just remember her saying, "Mom, you never did that with me." And my grandmother was like, "Grow up, Joni." She goes, "God, you whine like a little child." She was like, "You are a mother now." She was like, so yeah, my grandmother was always yelling at me, "Grow up, Joni." And she was like, "But Mom, you never did that with me." My grandmother was always like, "Shut up, grow up." But yeah, my grandma was not precious. She was not petite. She was very, very masculine. I thought she was awesome. She loved to drive like big trucks, and she loved to like shoot BB guns and stuff like that. She was like so kind of like Annie Oakley, like awesome. I loved my grandma. But I could see like maybe that would have been rough, her being a mom to my mom, maybe not the best mom, I don't know, wasn't there. But yeah, to being a grandma, she was freaking awesome. I loved her. Your grandparents redeemed themselves with you, so there you go. Your mom was missing love from her parents and got jealous. They gave love to you. Yeah, and then my dad, same thing, because my nana, my dad's mother, she was really hard on them, like really, really, really hard. And so that was so crazy, you guys. A red orb just like there's a hallway right there. Like it just went. Okay. Well, let me finish my sentence, and I'm gonna pull some cards then. But yeah, my nana was not soft with my dad, and I remember there would be some hushed conversations between my dad and my nana, and my nana would she'd constantly be kind of like yelling low to my dad. She was like, "You don't treat your daughter like that. You don't ever hit your daughter." She goes, "I don't want you ever to strike your daughter." And then he was like, "Oh, but you do that with me, and that's okay?" He was like, "That's how you raised us." And my nana's like, "But that's not how you raised your kids." She was like, "It's wrong. Don't do that." And my dad was like, "Psh, like, don't tell me how to raise my kids, you know?" But I would hear some of those conversations, even though they didn't think I heard. And so I knew that that's not how you're supposed to raise people then, because obviously grandma and grandpa and nana all say that that's not okay. And plus I had friends whose families like were totally cool too. Let's see. I wanted to tell you that your grandparents are there with you right now. It's probably why that red orb went right by. And yes, I know that whenever I mention my grandparents, I love them to pieces, and all of them are gone now. They're all on the other side, and it doesn't surprise me that they would probably be all with me right now. As I saw that with my grandmother, she was hard on my mom and cold to her, and my grandmother makes sense. This is right behind you, girl. Grandpa, grandma, nana, what's up? I miss you guys. Nona grew with age. It says they love you very much and they're around you, loving you. Yes, I always feel their love when they're around. Like, and I know they're around all the time, but sometimes you just feel them a little bit more. So, yeah. Okay, Grandpa, I will pull a card for you. And my grandpa, by the way, who, you know, it was like whatever I did, I could do no wrong in my grandfather's eyes. Like I will say it, I was your favorite grandchild. I know I was. Actually, he made no, like, there was no, like, trying to hide that I was his favorite grandchild. Like, I was his favorite grandchild. And I loved, like, going to my grandparents' house, like, in the summertime. I would stay with my grandma and my grandpa. And I loved, like, in the morning time, by the way, it'd be so hot because it's the high desert and it's the summertime. But I remember in the mornings, my grandfather would be up like super early. He was already working on the house because he built my grandmother's house. Like he built her dream house. I thought that was so cool. Like she wanted a yellow house with a white wraparound like front porch. She wanted the swing bench and everything. My grandfather built it himself with the help of his sons. But you know, my my grandfather built it himself, and so he was always like working on the house or whatever. And your grandpa has a great laugh. He does. My grandpa has a big German laugh, like ha ha ha. I love my grandpa's laugh. It's distinct. I remember there was in the mornings he'd be Tara, Tara, because I'd be sleeping upstairs in my Uncle Danny's room, and he's like, Tara, can you come out and play? Tara, and he would like throw stuff like rocks and stuff, like old school style, like up on the window, and he'd be like, Tara, can you come out and play? And then I would run to the window and I'm like, hi, Grandpa. And he says, come on, get your lazy butt up. It's time to get to work. And I'm like, okay. I'd go downstairs and it would be like, he would, basically it was kind of like helping him, but really he just let me go create stuff because we had piles of wood, we had nails, we had hammers, we had saws, and probably all kinds of stuff that little kids shouldn't play with. Rusty nails. But he loved what I could just build and create, and I loved like sawing things and cutting things and hammering things. And so I wanted to make like a soapbox, you know, car, and just using spare parts and stuff like that. So he'd just hand me stuff and he'd say, okay, it's time to get to work. And I'm like, yeah, Grandpa, it's time to get to work. Yeah. And I'm like, got my gloves on, got my hammer. And he's like, all right, get to work. And I'm like, because I always wanted to be like a hard worker like Grandpa, you know? So yeah, my grandparents were freaking awesome. Grandpa rocks. Silver Star says, it's a booming laugh. Yes, exactly. My grandmother had a really big laugh too. Hers was kind of like the smoker's laugh, but also a very distinct laugh. And actually, when they really want to make themselves known, my grandmother, all of a sudden, my house will smell like Marlboro Reds, because cigarettes, I mean, it's just kind of what my grandma smells like. And my grandfather smells like old cars, like the inside of an old car. So one time I smelled those smells together, and the dude smelled it too. And so I wasn't the only one. He was like, smells like cigarettes and old car. And I'm like, oh, you smell it too? It's my grandparents, they're here. And he's like, oh, okay, well, hey. Actually, now that I say cigs, it kind of smells a little bit like cigarettes. Says, oh, sweet Grandpa, you had it. I was wondering why I was smelling cigs. That's my grandma. Oh my gosh. And then my Nana, she doesn't come around too often. It's a little harder for, I don't know where she is in the ethers, but it is harder for her to come over sometimes. So if I do smell my Nana, it's Avon. Like, you know, Avon perfume, you guys know the smell. Avon perfume, that is what my Nana smells like. So Avon perfume, Marlboro Red cigarettes, old car. Those are my grandparents. Good combination. Hey, different era, it was. Diane's like, that explains the smell. Yes. So, okay, well, let's, Nana, if you're here, do you have a, and I swear that my Nana took over me at one point. Okay, so quick story. I know I tell you guys so much stories, and and I do want to pull a card, but it's very quick. Okay, so last year or 2 years ago, we went down to Mexico. One of my dude's friends that he used to like go to school with, like this guy was like top wrestler or whatever. He and his wife like go down to Mexico all the time. And so we went down there because we were going to go watch a movie. It was one of the Star Wars ones. I forgot which Star Wars one it was. But it was one of the new Star Wars movies, and we wanted to go to, there's like a really awesome theater, like when you get past TJ. And so we were down there, and we get out of the movie, and somebody said that we have to go to a certain part of town for the best street tacos you've ever had. So I was like, heck yeah, except where those street tacos are is in the red light district. So we're in the red light district and we're getting some tacos, and it's a very unique people there. And basically, like, I can understand Spanish, but when I go to speak it, like I'm like, like my sentences are very choppy. Like my spoken Spanish has gotten very bad. But I can understand it, I can read, and I can write. So, and his friend that's there with his wife, like they're Mexican, like fluent, like, you know, and so we're there with my dude who kind of sort of knows whatever he learned in high school. His was it, yeah, his other best friend was with us. And then there was a couple other guys. Basically, nobody else really spoke Spanish. And so there's this guy that was kind of harassing my dude's best friend, like was first asking to shine his shoes, like in Spanish. And my friend, or his friend was like, no, 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 no. But then he was like harassing him, and then it was like, hey, like give me money. And he was like really like pressuring him and like trying to like move him away from the rest of the group. And I swear to you, I remember walking over there, and then I remember walking back to the cart to get a taco, and everybody's staring at me, and I'm like, what? And my dude's like, what did you just tell that guy? And I'm like, what guy? He says, that guy that was harassing RJ. Like, what? He said, what did you just tell him? And I was like, I didn't tell him anything. I said, I'm coming over here for a taco. And he's like, no, you just literally just went off on that guy. And I was like, I didn't say anything to him. I was walking towards RJ, but then I decided I was coming back over for another taco. And he's like, do you not remember what you just said? I was like, I didn't say anything. And he's like, I bet your grandmother possessed you right now. I bet your Nana, like, because my Nana, she was Mexican. So he's like, I think your Nana possessed you and totally, like, you just spat out so much Spanish right now. He goes, and that guy was offended and he like left. And I was like, I did? I was like, wow, thanks, Nana. Thanks for possessing me for a second. That was pretty cool because I don't remember it. So yeah. Yes, Avon. Diana said, she is here. I was looking at my cat Jingles thinking she dumped my perfume, but I don't have that smell. I actually went to see if she spilled it. And the cigarette, I thought it was my neighbor. Susie's dude speaks Spanish really well. Self-taught, oh cool. Dan said, I do have specific perfume called La Papaya, hard to find, and I use it for my offerings to ancestors. So I thought the cat dumped it. Oh no. Yes, nanas are awesome. So I'm pretty sure my nana like jumped in my body and made me yell a bunch of stuff in Spanish that I don't remember. Because literally, and it's okay. And it's not, okay, I don't do drugs. And I wasn't drinking. So, I mean, I was totally like lucid. Like, and all I remember is like, I'm walking towards RJ and then I decide to walk back towards the taco cart. Like, that's all I remember. So anyway, my Nana. But yeah, I haven't felt her pop in all that much. It doesn't mean she's not there. It's just, I think her energy is a lot more faint than everybody else. Yes, Nana takes no crap, especially that Nana. Actually, both my grandmothers were very like strong, no nonsense women. Like they were very strong, and they were very tall too. They were both taller than me, which is interesting. Usually your grandparents are not taller than you, but I'm 5'8". My Nana was 5'9", and my grandma was 5'10". So I had some tall women in the family. And yeah, they were forces to be reckoned with, and I admired them very much. So I think it helped, you know, when you have like parents that aren't that great, but you got some really awesome like family members though, especially really strong females to look up to. I think that helped too. So I will thank my grandparents on that one. So funny. No tacos for you. Michelle says you can channel. That's awesome. Yeah, we got a lot of cool channelers in here, which is pretty cool. And Marie is here. Go Nana, yes. She said, oh no, Nana, estoy aquí siempre, solo que no me sientes. Sientes. Do you celebrate Dia de los Muertos? I do. She said to bring Mexican stuff like ancestor rituals and you will connect more with her. I have been bringing more into my house. I brought more Dia de los Muertos like stuff, you know, especially like on my altar. I've brought her before to my friend's Dia de los Muertos party that he has every year because we bring like pictures of our ancestors and we talk about them and have food, and there's like a special like pan de sal like bread that they make and stuff like that. And she came through pretty strong the one time I brought her a picture there. But actually, her picture is right over there. I could show you guys. Do I want to move the camera or do I just walk over? Let me unplug myself. I will just walk over. Give me a second. Okay, let me plug myself back in. We're back. Let's see. She never leaves you alone, Diane, in a good way. So try to find the perfume close to what she likes. Light up a candle, make her a cup of coffee as an offering. You will totally feel her. Okay, I will. And this is her photo that I keep like right over here. But that's my Nana. And she was probably, I think she was about 18 or 19 in that picture. No, 18. I think she was 18 because she had my dad at 19. Yeah. So, yeah, that's my Nana. Yeah. Aw. Yeah, she's beautiful. I'm always like, Nana, why couldn't I have gotten your looks? Looks like one of those old film stars. Oh yes, I always think like she always wanted to be like old school Hollywood, and I think she looks like, oh, what's that actress's name? There's an old 40s actress that I always say she kind of looks like, but off the top of my head right now, I can't remember her name. You were asking about her because you feel her now. You see, yes. Aw, thank you. Stanley said, but saying that, I always think, oh, looks like someone from a film. She looks like one of those old film stars. Yes. Yeah, kind of like Rita Hayworth, kind of, gosh, oh, and I pride myself on knowing my 40s film stars because I love old Hollywood. Like because I'm a photographer, and when I take pictures, I love to do like old black and whites. Like I like to do black and whites, and I like to do like the pinup, and I love all that stuff. Greta Garbo, yes, Judy Garland. I was going to say Joan Crawford. No, definitely not Joan Crawford. Very Casablanca, yes. But yeah, so she, actually the writing on here, it was because she gave it to her mother. So it's back in the day when you would like take a picture of yourself and like give it to your parents or your mom or something. And it's, I don't know, I think that's kind of cool. You know, people should kind of like get back in some of that old stuff. So like my dad is a lot older than my mom. You know, my dad's 20 years older than my mom. So I was kind of grown, like when I grew up, it was like two different worlds. You know, my dad had me listening to like the oldies. I like to watch black and white movies because that's like the era he grew up in. So I grew up loving everything like 40s and 50s and listening to the Platters and the Temptations and the Supremes, and like my Uncle Joe is like my dad's brother is like totally into like old records and stuff like that. So I listened to records and 45s with him and stuff like that. And then my mom was into classic rock. Well, at the time, I guess it would just be called rock, but like my mom's favorite band is like the Rolling Stones. And so she would always like get on my dad for listening to that bubblegum music. My mom was like, you don't listen to cool music like I do. She's like the Stones and Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, man. Like, that was my mom. So yeah, it was like these two different worlds, and like my parents who both love music, and my dad who thought he was the godfather of soul, James Brown. You know, my dad would be like, I got soul, baby. Like my dad was always singing and like always like he's Mr. like put on a show and stuff like that. Like he wanted to be Bruce Lee / James Brown. And so my dad's like trying to, he's like, baby, who's this? And I'm like, James Brown. He's like, James Brown? James Brown. He goes, damn right, that's James Brown. And like my mom would be like, baby, who's on the radio right now? I'm like, she's like, don't tell me you don't know who this is. But I don't know, Blue Oyster Cult. There you go, Blue Oyster Cult. I'm like, okay. So yeah, I kind of grew up with like a couple of musical parents, even if I think my dad could sing and my mom couldn't sing, but yeah, so I think I got a lot of my musicaliness from them. Let's see. Ooh, Ingrid Bergman, she was so pretty. And on the back of the card there will be a love story, kind of. Well, this one, hold on, let me go back. Your Nana said you need to make a new deck with an old look using her photo as the cover now. Nana, I will think about that. Jonathan said, did she love bacon? I keep smelling bacon while she cooked and talked. So, yes. Actually, if I remember, because they grew up really, really, really poor, you know, my dad and them, they grew up in Logan Heights. Like, we're talking like sometimes there was no food in the house. So my dad literally used to break into the house next door to get food out of the fridge. Like they were desperate back in the 40s and 50s. So my dad says when they would get like some like when they went on like some government type stuff, they would get food, and my nana would get bacon. And so what she would do with the bacon was she would mix everything in the bacon. So, you know, the bacon has the grease. So then she would keep the grease and then cook everything in it to, you know, that's like the grease used to cook everything, like eggs or chicken or anything like that. And so, yeah, bacon. She liked bacon. So the original photo, I don't think this is the original one. I think this is a copy I made of the original. Yeah, this is a copy I made of the original because I'm so afraid of like something happening to the original photo. But who has the original? My Uncle Joe has her original photo. And there probably is something on the back, but she was, for as hardcore a woman as she was so romantic. Like she, after she passed, I found her journals and her diaries, and she was a poet. She would write poetry in Spanish. She would write poetry in Italian. She taught herself. I didn't even know she taught herself that. She wrote poetry in English, but it was always these love poems. Like she was always looking for love, you know, which is kind of, you know, she did have, Egypto, Montreal, Shatini, Salud. She had 4 husbands. She got married like 4 times, had 8 kids. And my dad always said that, yeah, she was always just looking for like the right man that would stick around, raise her kids with her. But yeah, she was like a romantic at heart. So she wrote all kinds of poetry. So it wouldn't surprise me that there would be something awesome on the back of her picture. And actually my grandfather, who I never met, my Filipino grandfather, even though he was married a couple of times, he always said that she was his favorite. And he even got a plot next to him so that they could be buried together in the Philippines. And so he always asked her, you know, to come back with him. And she was like, hell to the no. But apparently that plot is still there waiting for her, even though she's passed, long since passed. Elizabeth Taylor too. Could look like a 40s movie star. Oh, Elizabeth Taylor, so beautiful. Those lavender eyes. Jennifer, I love Bruce Lee. Here in Seattle, we have Bruce Lee Museum, and it's like my favorite place ever. I would love to visit a Bruce Lee museum. That'd be freaking cool. Ayana's here. We totally do that in our house. Brussels sprouts and bacon grease. Yes. Yes. Peace, love, and bacon grease. My grandpa was born in 1911. Used to pass around their Christmas orange for 6 kids in Chicago. Great, they would smell it, appreciate it. That's cool. You know, my dude's mother had this thing. You know, she was Portuguese. So yes, my dude is half Portuguese. She always had to put a tangerine or an orange in like our stocking for Christmas, you know, because I always came over to their house for Christmas, and I was always like, dude, what's with the orange? And she would always say, so you can appreciate, you need to appreciate, you know, the simpler things and fruit and food before you can like welcome all these. She was always like, you need to appreciate like that you have food in your belly and stuff like that. So she's like, don't knock my orange or my tangerine. Yeah, she was all about that. That is so cool. I didn't know anybody else did that. I thought that was her. I told you the back of the new cards will have to look like love quotes or poems. She told me that. I did not know that. So now you know it's for real. Yes. I love to make white gravy out of bacon grease. See, now you guys made me hungry. An ancestor deck with beautiful roses. Oh, that'd be really pretty actually. I'm not getting any of my notifications. Missed getting on sooner. Hey, no worries, Ayana. We're just chilling. People popping in and out. Oh my, Nana is yelling at me to get back to my schoolwork. The stories will be watchable later, and now is the time to do my work so I can spend time with my family. Damn, Nana just beat me down. Beat down. All right, well, I guess you got to get back to your schoolwork. People from Portugal are always cool. I always feel her guy must be a funny guy. Yeah, my dude is, he has his mother's sense of humor. Like I always say he sometimes has a little bit of a mean sense of humor because he's usually laughing at me. But yeah, my guy he's really chill. But yeah, he got a lot from his mom. I loved his mom. Roses and old photos. Yes. My grandpa grew up in Seattle and had to bully kids for lunch money and eat horse meat during the war. Oh, that's so sad. Yeah, but yeah, you know, my family does know about being like poor. I'm glad I never was at that level, and my dad made sure that I was never at that level, that at least I had food. Even if we were like not super rich, you know, at least I had food, at least I had clothes, and at least I had a roof over my head. That's what my dad was always like always like, I work hard so that you don't have to be like, he never wanted me to do manual labor. He was always like, I want you to go to college, get a better life than I did. He goes, I never want you to go hungry. I work hard so that you have food, you have a place to sleep, and you have clothes on your back. And that was like that was good enough for me, I guess. My mom and her brothers and sisters got oranges in their stockings at Christmas. Thought it was just my grandma. See, who knew that we all have all this stuff in common? Portugal rooster statues. Yes, they have those. And I always think it's funny because, okay, here's the thing. I love horses, and my zodiac sign is the rooster. And then my boyfriend thinks it's funny because he said his zodiac sign is the horse and his Portuguese symbol is the rooster. So I don't know, we always thought that was funny. Yes, you can tell he's funny, the gifts he puts on your altar. Dude, my altar is getting crazy. He just bought me an iron giant. So the iron giant is coming to my altar. Have a good Saturday. Nana says she won't stop bugging me until I get back to work. That sounds like Nana. All right, Jonathan. Aloha. You have a great rest of your weekend. And I hope the distance learning continues to go well with your BB in first grade now. It says, always got oranges too. I look forward to the oranges now. I miss the oranges now because now that his mother's gone, like, I don't get that stuff anymore. My mom got oranges and nuts. Were you born in 1981 too? I'm a metal rooster and Chinese. Yes, I'm a metal rooster, 1981. Yes, that is me. And yeah, my dude is a horse. My dad is a dragon. My brother is a rabbit and my mom is a rat. And that's always made me laugh. I'm like, you're a rat. You can pick up the tradition and put them in his stocking if you do that around the holidays. I thought about doing that. I even joked. I was like, should I start putting tangerines or oranges in your stocking? He's like, no. That was like a stupid tradition my mom did. And I'm like thinking, maybe I'll do that. I'll do that this year. I'm gonna put oranges in the stockings because I can. Susie's like, I am a rat. See, you're probably a way cooler rat. My mom is the bad side of the rat. See, in reality, my mom's a rat, but in reality, you're not a rat. See, there's a difference. 1972, rats are supposed to have really good luck. I think that when you're evil, that doesn't work out. But when you're a nice person, I think that you get all the awesome traits of that zodiac sign. But when you're evil, maybe that just doesn't work out. William is a fire snake. Ooh. She is definitely in the shadow side of the rat. Yes. Okay. I feel like my grandparents just like decide to come and sit in and just hang out. So welcome to my grandparents, by the way. Okay. Did you guys hear anything on the microphone? Was that just me? That was cool. Snow, Michelle got a yes, Marie got a yes. I'm like, what? I was like, I hope I wasn't the only one to hear that because, I'm gonna pull 3 cards. Sea cat is a monkey. Says it's confirmation, girl. Silver Star says, thank you for doing these lives. I look forward to seeing these. You heard something too. Annette has visitors. Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Grandma. Okay, so, oh, I have visitors. Yes, Silver Star says, I was like, what was that? I see roosters still. I am weird. Susie, the roosters are following you. William heard it. Ayana said, hey, do you know anything about earrings, ear ringing and spirits? We were just talking about that actually at the beginning of this live chat. It was Silver Star and me, I believe. Like our hearing was going out and our ears were ringing. And usually when there's like a high vibration or stronger energy coming through, my hearing will go out or it will ring. It says, I'm dying laughing. No, Ayana, that's cool. I just think that that's like synchronistic, you know, that we were just like literally talking about that and you bring it up again. So I think that that's synchronicity. So I think that's so cool. Okay. So grandma. Okay, I get lemon balm and it says, remain discreet, sniff out the truth. Butterfly said chronic tinnitus for me. See, I went and got my ears checked and I was fine, but you know, I was kind of worried that that's could have been something. But the reason I laughed and I knew that this is my grandmother is because when I smell Marlboro cigarettes, I know that it's my grandmother. When my brother smells lemons, he knows it's my grandmother. So he doesn't get the Marlboro cigarettes from her. Like he smells lemon and he knows it's her. For me, I'm Sigs. So it's kind of like a message telling me that she's with my brother right now, which is pretty cool. And then it says kept promises, long-term relationship, attainment is close, lasting relationship. So we have the iris and then we have the foxglove. But I know that foxglove is also used for like heart medications. Like it's actually really poisonous, but you know, people have been like scientists and stuff like that, chemists have figured out how to take the medicinal part of foxglove and turn it into like a heart healing type stuff. So it's actually used in medications for people with heart issues. So I feel like they're just actually with the two irises, that this is actually my grandma. My grandma saying that your grandfather and I are coming in because, oh yes, that's true. That I've been having a little more issues with my heart since yesterday or the day before. Like my heart just keeps like skipping. I have PVCs, or yes, which is premature ventricular contractions, PVCs. It's like a mouthful. And I also have tachycardia. And it's not really been a problem because I usually am pretty good with it. But like all day yesterday, it's like every like 10 seconds goes by and it's like my heart skips. I'm like, and when it skips, I cough. Which is probably not cool now because if I'm out in public and people see me coughing, they think I have like the Rona or something. I'm like, no, it's just I'm having a minor heart attack. It's okay. But yeah, I think my grandma just saying that Grandpa and I are here because we know that you've been having some issues with your heart lately, and we just want to make sure everything is fine. So thank you. I'm fine right now. Actually, it hasn't skipped once since I've been on my live chat. So when I woke up this morning, it was skipping all day yesterday. It hasn't skipped once since the chat. So you guys are magical. You guys heal my heart. You guys are my hearts. Ayana said, I'm trying to open myself up to my ancestors and I have been getting it more. I would say that that's a good sign that things are opening up. Susie, I think that is a cool message. We need to do a group healing. I think so. OMG said your grandma has a sense of humor. She's making me laugh so hard. That's probably like my mom's mom, my grandma. Because my Nana, she has a different sense of humor. I think my grandma's more laugh out loud type stuff. It says the energies are intense. That could be why you're feeling that way. Keep calm and breathe. Lots of fresh air. Hard to get fresh air right now. It's a little burning out there. And it said my brother-in-law has been having issues with his heart, very similar to what you are stating. Really? I tried taking magnesium, like the powder magnesium, because it helps a little bit. Because sometimes if you're low in magnesium or you're dehydrated, that could cause it to act up. So I've been trying to hydrate as much as possible. I mean, you guys know that I have what Lady Night refers to as my fire hydrant. So I have my giant thing of water. I'm trying to hydrate. Yes, I use the restroom a lot. I have my magnesium. I also have a Pharmagabo, which is supposed to help calm the central nervous system, but it's just like not been helping. And I was like, what? I've been trying to be so calm, been trying to meditate, been trying to like chill out on the couch. And I even forewent a rigorous workout and decided to do like yoga instead. I was just like, calmate. My heart was like, no, we're gonna get all wackate. But you know, my boyfriend's always like, he says, of course your heart is wacky because my girlfriend is wacky. And I'm like, I'm not wacky. But yeah, he calls me his wacky girlfriend. Oh, for me. Okay. Well, yeah, Susie, we can do a little group healing. I guess, you know, that would be nice. Thank you. It says, oh no, burning, magnesium, and potation helps also. Do you like sunflower seeds? I do. I love sunflower seeds. I haven't ate them in forever. Ayana says she has heart issues too. It could be more symptomatic when it's really hot or overly muggy. But I was kind of attributing it to the heat because it's been over 100 degrees for like an entire week straight. So I'm thinking that when there's a change in like the air pressure and like the temperature and it's like a huge swing, that affects my heart. I've been kind of like thinking. Yes, the hydrant. I meant potassio, or however you spell it. Yoga. Oh, you're a yoga teacher. My dude's best friend RJ that lives in Hawaii, he lives in Oahu. He's a yoga instructor. So we were supposed to have yoga on Wednesday evening, but he canceled for something like a Zoom yoga thing. Silver Star says it's all sassy. I see her wagging her finger at all of us with an attitude like, look here, you all, listen. Ayana's like, you are totally wacky. But the energy portal opening up for the Lion's Gate is very powerful. And plus the new moon is coming up also. It's a combo. Sunflower is rich in magnesium. I make a lot of stuff with sunflower oil. And I know you can't have too much magnesium because I've done that. I've had too much magnesium. Do you know what they sell that has just straight up a lot of magnesium? X-Lax. That's why you don't do a lot of magnesium. I learned that the hard way. Anyway, so I take just 1 teaspoon of magnesium and I eat a lot of other foods that have magnesium, but I try to stay within a certain threshold. White candle, tea light, with what you said once, rosemary for you today. Oh, rosemary would be perfect. And actually, let's ask my flowers. It says X-Lax. Yes, Diane. Don't want to go overboard on the magnesium. Oh no, you will have an interesting day, let me tell you. Okay, I've had some crazy meditations too, you guys. It's like, I guess, yeah, the energies have been intensely crazy. And me, another friend here on social media, my friend in Belgium, her good friend also in Belgium, we've all been pulling the same tarot card. We're having similar wacky dreams, and we're all like, for some reason, every movie we watch or every TV show, for some reason now has tarot in it. We're like shows that are old, like from the 90s or the 80s. And I was like, I never noticed that there was like tarot in it. Like in the movie Tombstone, you know, with Val Kilmer and all them. Doc Holliday is my favorite. They had tarot in there. And I was like, I don't remember that being in there. But, you know, of course I was like 9 when I saw it last. So, but yeah, it's been some crazy stuff. All right, Annette, you have a great, great, great weekend. Susie said, kombucha for Tara. I don't like the taste of kombucha, but I know it's good for you. And my friend in Belgium has made some kombucha. I know it is good for you though. Silver Star takes iron and magnesium together. It seems to balance it. I do have my iron too. I take a Cal Mag Zinc as well because I know that calcium helps magnesium and zinc get through the system. So, sorry, this is off topic, but do you know a simple banishing spell for banishing jealousy? My favorite go-to banishing for anything, especially if I don't even want it to enter my home, and I've done this already and it seems to work pretty well, and I only had to do it once, is I got like a little glass jar, and in that glass jar, I put everything sharp and gross. So I got like rusty nails, razor blades. I smashed a small little glass bottle. I threw that in there so it was shards of glass. And then I poured vinegar in it, and then I sealed it up and I buried it. It's right outside my front door. And I haven't had any issues. So I don't know if you want to try that. Maybe you don't have to bury it, but maybe you can hide it somewhere. But also, if you wanted to, you could take a piece of paper, write down the person's name, and then cross out their name, write your name, circle your name. Imagine that you are protected in a bubble of white light, and anything they say will be canceled out and sent back to them in the form of love, because I don't really, in my magic, I don't believe in like sending out bad juju, but I do believe in deflecting stuff and healing them as much as possible so they don't continue to be like jerks or anything. So I always imagine myself in white light, and basically anything they say that comes at me that's negative comes back in the form of healing for them, so that maybe they can stop being jerks. So on that piece of paper, just write their name, cross it out, write your name, circle it up, fold it 7 or 9 times. I usually go with like 9 times sometimes. And then I burn it. And I just know that it's off into the universe and I am protected, and whatever that person says will go back to them in the form of healing, and it shall never reach me. And that works pretty well too. Let's see. Ayana, oh yeah, the sister-in-laws of the Earps playing tarot, yes! She predicts death. Yes, it was like the Tower card, and it was the Death card, and there was one other card that I couldn't see, but it was like dun, 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 dun. Says, that is a good one. So true, good spell. Susie's like, Ayana on a white horse. Diane said, don't do the freezing one, guys. A lot of people do the freezer, and that is a terrible one. It comes back horrible. Really? I've never tried the freezer one. Sai, you've been watching my older videos. I tried watching my very first YouTube video that I made. It's awkward. As my friend's daughter would say, awkward starfish. It's very awkward. I can't even watch myself, like really. This actually did a burial for the past, but all the old objects that were attached to the energy, and buried it. Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah, cool. Okay, let's see. Put that there. Hello, roses. Okay, I had, let's see, what time do we have? Oh, we'll shoot. Okay, let me do a reading for you guys. Actually, let me show you one more thing. Let me do a group reading for us, and then we'll do a healing. But I have one really cool thing to show to you guys, because I was just looking at the time, and I know that my dude, I hopefully will be home soon, so we can have some food, because I am starving. Hey, Barbara. Okay, but in this little tin, I bought something else from Moon Pumpkin Art on Etsy. She's the one that I got the Oracle Pogs from, and basically all the Oracle Pogs, but now she makes pendulums. Treasure Troll pendulums. Yes, that's right, you guys. In here, we have a Treasure Troll pendulum. Plus it comes with like a little spell kit, which I think is neat. Susie's like, we would hang out forever. Yes. Okay, so check this out, you guys. Oh, it's so cute. It's sparkly. Like, she makes the little molds herself. So she put the hair in herself, and she does the little molds. And then she has like a cute little heart, you know, thing that it hangs off of. It's got a little fairy up here and a little star. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the cutest little pendulum ever. So I loved my little pendulum. We bonded right away. I will say it was kind of pricey, because it also comes with like a spell kit that's in here, and really I was just more interested in this. But it's handmade. Like, she does the molds herself, she does the hair herself, she braided this herself and like did all this. So okay, I understand, you know, time is money. Yes, and I'm so sad that the dude made me get rid of my treasure trolls back when we started dating. He was like, we don't need all that. And he never got rid of his Tonka trucks. Okay, he still has Tonka trucks and freaking Transformers, and I got rid of my treasure trolls. And he was like, they were ugly. I'm like, they're cute. They have little like things in their bellies. And he's like, is that why you have a belly ring? Because you want to be a treasure troll? I'm like, no. But anyway, so it's been really good for energy, like spirit energy. I've been working with spirit a lot with it, and I think it's been really good. It's like a little like friend. It's like your little, I don't know. It's got a spirit of its own, which is pretty cool. So I could ask a question right now, such as, and I know that when it spins to the right, it's always a yes, and when it spins to the left, it's a no. And when it's down the middle, it's an I don't know, or I don't feel like telling you at this time. So my question was, let me put that so you guys can see. My question is, Grandpa, have you been hanging out in my house lately? No? But Grandpa, are you hanging out right now? Yes. Actually, I know who's been hanging out. My dad's father. Gypto, are you here? Okay, so my dad's dad has probably a bigger personality than all my grandparents combined. He is quite the big personality. I'm sorry I never met him. We have the same birthday, actually. But he was like a great entrepreneur. He came from Cebu, Philippines. He was a fighter. He was apparently a really little guy, though, too. And my Nana loved short men. Like, that was her thing, like little guys. And so, yeah, she dated, or she married her, well, a couple of Filipino guys. She married an Italian guy, and no, it was three Filipino guys and an Italian guy. Yeah, because her 4 husbands. But she liked really short guys. So my Nana being like 5'9", and all her men are like 5'6". But anyway, Gypto, have you been hanging out with my friends and I on this thing we call the interwebs? You see how much more energy he has? Like, everybody else is like a dude, like he's like a whoa. Like, Gypto is, he's got some crazy energy. And I hear that his laugh was just like my dad's. Oh, Garrett's back. He's talking about my adorable treasure troll pendulum. They have jeweled bellies. They're such a treasure. I loved my treasure trolls so much, their hair, and I had such pretty colors, and I love to shine up their little jewels. And but yeah, so I don't know if you want to check out her website, or you could try making them yourself. I love this. So I just needed to show you guys that because it's freaking cool, and and I love it. All right, Jillifer, you go have some lunch. You have a great rest of your weekend. All right, so I'm going to do a little group reading for us, and then we'll do a little healing, and then we'll be on our way because I'm actually super hungry right now. I need to go eat something. Sounds like Elizabeth Taylor with 6 different hubbies. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Yes. How many of them were sailors? I think they were all sailors. What can I say? My Nana liked hanging out at the port. Oh my goodness. Oh, do you want to know something funny? My my Nana's nickname, which I learned, was Shanghai. I was like, what? And she was like, well, my nickname was Shanghai because she says, you know, although she's not Asian, she's married Asians, you know, Filipino guys, partly what I am. I'm part Asian, you know, and she was like, and so she says, I always had like Asian stuff up in my house, and my dad's like, no, Mom, that's not why they call you Shanghai. And she says, yes, it is. She says, it's because I love everything Asian, especially like Filipino and Chinese. Like I love all that stuff. That's why I have so many decorations. And my dad's like, no, Mom, it's not why they call you Shanghai. So, I mean, you guys probably figured that out. And her having 4 husbands and all. But my Nana was totally cool. I love my Nana. Oh, LOL, she said all of them. I heard that. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. The message for us is crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna put that there. I'm just gonna pull one from my Wally's World Oracle. And then I'm gonna use, actually, since I'm talking about Pinoy, Filipino, the Practical Magic Tarot by Chingue Labrador. She's out in the Philippines, always got to support the PI. She has another deck. She has actually a few other decks, but there's one that I just ordered, and it's the Pinoy Practical Magic Tarot. So I am so excited. I can't wait to receive that one. It's got like Filipino movie stars, which I think is great. Okay, so I'm going to use this one for the other part of her message. Okay, sounds good. And then actually, I'm gonna pull one of my flower. Oh, thank you, Susie. Says, I get it. After watching Golden Girls, I get it. Thank you, Blanche. Okay. Here are our cards one by one. So the first card is a picture of Machu Picchu. Which was a picture that was taken by my stepmom when her and my father went down to South America. The next one is the 6 of Cups. It says nostalgia. This is the 5 of Cups, and it says glass half empty. Collaboration, 3 of Pentacles. And carnation, admiration. Whew. I am a little dizzy, you guys, so I'm gonna have a little drinky drink. And now my heart's skipping now that like my live chat's coming to an end. My heart's skipping. Okay. Okay, so what I'm getting as our message, just watched a documentary on that. It's so beautiful. Susie's like, no, well, it's not a bad one right now. It's just like a light skipping. I'm getting ancestor stuff. I mean, I had my relatives that come through, but this is not the only relatives. This is like your relatives, your ancestors that have crossed, which as you could tell, they never really leave. Okay, so I was just like kind of putting it all together. So it's kind of like ancestors coming in, asking you to actually tap into ancestral work. Even if you had a not so great relationship with the people that have crossed, they're asking you to invite them in so that you can finally, and that's probably why my heart was skipping, so that you can finally do a little bit of work with them to release that heavy burden, because I'm getting that stuff that they left you with, you know, whatever sordid relationship that you guys had, or just like not getting along well, or unanswered questions and stuff, and it's affecting your life right now. They're apologizing. I say we have work to do. You know, not only do I have karmic stuff on this side to release, but I want to help you release some of the stuff that I left you with, which is not your stuff at all. That's my stuff. So let's heal that together. So it's probably going to be a little bit difficult to do something like that, especially if it's somebody that you don't have a great relationship with. So let's say my mother was on the other side. I can understand it would be really hard for me to do that, but I would have to obviously bring her into a loving space and just realize that she was just an energy brought on this earth. I probably actually chose her so that I could be the person that I am. So I like to think that maybe I chose my mom and dad, and yes, they were kind of crappy, but I picked them. I picked him for a reason because it was going to push me to be the kind of person that I am today. And the families that they had, their parents, were going to be really helpful for me. So maybe just kind of keeping that in mind when you do a bit of healing work with ancestors or people that have crossed, that you need stuff to clear up with. Is just kind of putting it in that perspective of like, hey, they were just kind of doing their job. You know, they were just kind of here to help you because you asked them to be there, you know. So maybe their job was to play the villain. Maybe their job was to play the role of the teacher. Maybe their job was to play the instigator. But everybody's got their role, at least in my belief, on this earth. My mom has the role of being the jealous mother. But I learned a lot of stuff from that, you know, and I became a better person. My dad, you know, the role of being the macho man, you know, and kind of seeing where that got him. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff for the people on the other side as well as you that could do some healing work, some heart work, hence the skipping of my heart, letting me know that this is heart-centered. And also, with the admiration card, I got that as kind of an interesting twist, that the people that are still here, and possibly the people that have crossed too, the ones that you look up to and admired, also know that they have shadow aspects as well, that they're not perfect people. And just to be careful of not putting people on pedestals, whether they are here or not, because the thing with that is, because we're all imperfect human beings, because nobody is perfect, and we're all here to learn something, we all have light and shadow selves. That when we start to see a version of that person that we are not accustomed to, it almost shatters us, because it's like, oh, but I put them up there because they were so great and I didn't know that they were like that. Well, they're just human. And so just to be careful about the people that you raise on high, you know, maybe bring them more down to your level. Maybe more eye to eye. Okay, so let me see what you guys said. Diana was like, whoo, pow, boom, yes. And says, things buried in the past will come to the front to help deal with ancestors' baggage, to transform it into a higher degree. Yes, we need to help them to elevate by doing offerings. Yes, this whole conversation is coming to a full circle with the read. You can't make this stuff up. Exactly. And we're all strong enough to overcome it. How can we be definite? Oh, sorry, my ear. How can we be definite that we picked our parents? I don't speak to my parents. They suck. Oh, trust me, I don't speak to my mother. I haven't spoken to her in like 12 or 13 years. I don't know. It's just part of my belief system. And I don't know, it's just, you know, I'm not saying that that's actually true or that's what all people should believe. It's just kind of like in my beliefs, like if I were on the other side and I'm thinking of like, okay, here are a list of things, because I'm going to go to Earth School and let's say I want to major in, I don't know, whatever it is I'm majoring in here. I don't know what I'm majoring in. So I want to do this, this, and this. Okay. So you got these homies that are in your soul family. All right. So in order for you to achieve this, you're going to need a really wicked mom. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm looking at the clock. It's 1:11 right now. That is so cool. Anyway. And so it's like, I almost like told this lady, I was like, okay, so do you think you're up for the role of being a really heinous, really awful mother? She's like, I got you. I was like, okay, great. Because by doing that, you are going to help me with X, Y, and Z. Okay, you are going to be a dad who has a lot of issues with your emotions, not really knowing how to utilize them, and you are going to kick your daughter around but raise your son up like he's a prince. Can you do that? Because that's going to help me on my spiritual journey. He's like, great, okay, horrible dad, gotcha. And I'm like, okay, great. Okay, little brother, okay, you're going to be my little brother when I go to Earth, okay? You're going to have a lot of baggage too, okay? And all these people are going to help me. And, you know, so that's just kind of how I see it, but I'm not saying that's actually correct. But
I don't know, I guess maybe it helps me in some way to see it that way, that it's like we all came to earth with like a role to play. And maybe I see it that way because I do opera and I see like kind of like the world stage, you know, everybody just kind of plays a role. And if somebody plays a role that's really heinous, well then if I'm a character actor or I don't know, a method actor or something like that, you know, how am I going to bounce off of what I'm getting from this person? How does that change my character? How does that help my character grow or move forward in the story? Does the story then shift because of these people? You know, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying that that's right, but let's see. Oh, hey, Chris Kelly says, believe it or not, even the people who were evil to you, they admire you as well. Ironic, but true. That's interesting. She says that cough. Now we cannot admire Tara, not flattery. Yes. I look at the soul family the same way. We got stuff to learn and we need the right kind of supporting roles in our show. Yes. This is powerful messages. My husband's mother and grandmother want to connect with me to help with healing on that side of the family. Wow, I smell smoke. I have never met them though. Do you smell smoke? It could be my grandma. I'm sorry. She's been visiting everybody during this live chat, so it's out of my control. Garrett's like, Bomblerina, no comment. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a healing then. And let's make the focus. Marie's like, maybe. Let's make the focus for allowing us to open a comfortable space. So not forcing anything, because you never want to force anything, but opening up a comfortable space that maybe we could take the first steps into striking up a conversation. So maybe not automatically jumping into a conversation, but taking the steps necessary to maybe open up to the idea of healing some stuff that was left behind by people who are no longer of this world. And also in turn saying, I want to make it a reciprocal type thing. So I want them to receive healing on the other side as well. So not only do I need to receive healing because of the wounds that were left on me, but I want to make sure that this person receives healing too. Because, you know, in my belief, I never want to do anything out of spite. I never want to say, I want that person punished because of what they did to me. I never want to do, you know, an eye for an eye type thing. I want to say, you know what you did was pretty crappy. And I certainly am not saying that that's okay, because it's totally not okay. But I don't want you to continue that with anybody else, and I don't want anybody else to come in contact with that type of energy. So if I can get you to heal, maybe not only can you have seen the error of your ways, but maybe you can help others instead of hurting others, because I don't want that cycle to continue, you know? So, but that's like a big thing to ask for, especially if somebody's really, really, really done some pretty horrible things. But, you know, maybe just kind of like separate yourself. So for today's healing, I just want that to be like something that maybe you take a step towards or open yourself up to. Hey, poor Sue. I was watching a movie, so I didn't come earlier. Hey, no worries. But, you know, just to open yourself up to the idea of possibly doing some sort of reciprocal healing with those that have hurt you most. And William, yes, definitely, you know, just the intention, you know, you could do it too. As the healing comes to you, you could say, some of this is going to be going to my brother. So, you know, so it's kind of just intention. So let's put that out to everybody that needs, you know, healing right now, and also to heal our past so that history doesn't repeat itself. Okay, so you guys can stick around for the healing, but know that you don't actually have to be on the chat to receive it. Energy is energy. It goes past time and space. So even people that watch this in the future, it'll be like they're watching it right now. The healing will reach them. You don't have to do anything special. You can go mow the lawn. You can go do the dishes. You can go build a boat. I don't know. You don't have to be in lotus pose unless you truly want to. Yeah, and just know that the healing energy will come to you. It's just the idea of maybe possibly opening up to that healing. I want you to heal, but I want to heal too, type thing. So yeah, here's to healing the old stuff so we can bring in some really awesome, glittery new stuff. Okay? And just say that you are open to it, either in the chat, in your brain, out loud. Here we go. Okay, you guys. Woo! That was some big energy. Sorry, I'm coughing into the mic. But whoa, that was intense. So hopefully you guys happily received that. It kind of felt like the house was filling up with kids. It was so weird. There was like baby crawling on the floor. There was teenagers in here. There was like elementary school kids in here. It was like all these kids showed up. So I don't know if that's like the child versions of you guys or there was actual kids showing up. I don't know. But yeah, powerful stuff. Anyway, as always, I thank you guys so much for coming into the chat. This is what I look forward to like every Saturday. Like this is my jam. Thank you guys. Garrett's like, I'm already a teen. So Garrett, maybe I was looking at you as a baby. We had to go way back. So anyway, yeah, like I said, I always just have fun with you guys. Like, thank you for allowing me to always share my kooky stories and to just have fun with you guys and just have a place where we can all just like, hang out and be one wacky family, as my boyfriend would probably say. My wacky girlfriend and her wacky friends have a little wacky family. Garrett's like, uh-oh. And everyone's Blues Travelers band, yay! So yeah, blessings to everyone. Yes, and happy new moon next week. Yes, for sure. Gonna be doing a little something with that. So, as always, sending you all tons of love. I will catch you all next Saturday. Got to brainstorm my videos for next week, since now I got to figure out how to continue doing all my videos and all my distance learning stuff, but we'll get this. So anyway, I will catch you all later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out. Love you guys. Happy Saturday. Have a fun Sunday.